to have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe to toe with me on that?
Like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Spurs Five. I'm your host with the most because unfortunately Sean has fallen a cropper. He's not well tonight, so I've been thrown in the deep end the last minute to host. Got to do what we've got to do. But anyway, regardless of that, welcome, subscribe, like, smash the notification bell. Thanks for being with us. Get your super chats in, get your questions in. We've got a massive show tonight. So much to discuss, so much to go through. And new information coming through about Tottenham today to add to yesterday's fantastic display and the aftermath of the game. And where do we even begin? But look, before we get going, let's say hello to the two usual suspects, and then we will bring in our special guest for tonight. Johnny, how are you doing? How was your trip to Bournemouth? How was your journey back? You look delighted.
Yeah, well, it was, for those wondering where Sean is, he actually has come down with Spursitis. As we all know, there is no known cure, but I'm sure it'll be back tomorrow soldiering through. Look, it's left here about 2:15, got home at 1 o'clock and managed to see the players ignore the fans and the kids off the bus. Then managed to kick off and have a fight or want to have a ruck at the end, and we lost 3-2. So all in all, fabulous trip. But do you know what? I've got to be honest. It's like I feel like I have an inbuilt Kevlar vest now. After the last season, I've lost count how many games we've lost out of the last. Is it 42 out of the last 61 we've lost?
Don't know. It's 43 out of 87, I think. Something like that.
40. No, in the league. Lubo.
Yeah, no, it was 22, 12 and 8, 42 in the last 87. There you go.
I feel like it's more than 50%, to be honest with you. I think you need to look at those numbers. Anyway, my point is I feel like I'm becoming immune to it, and there's no way that anyone should become immune to these defeats and these absolutely shambolic performances. Although I'm going to pass on to Lubo now. Although I would say I didn't feel we deserved to lose last night, and on that second half performance, I thought we were better than we had been in the couple of previous games. But we're talking about small measures.
I just want to remind everyone, the last show we did in 2025, Johnny told the world, good riddance to 2025. and in 2026, we had the debacle at Brentford, the debacle versus Sunderland, and then last night the debacle at Bournemouth. So 2026 is definitely new. It's different. It's
same as 24, 25, and probably most of 20, a lot of 23 as well. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Lubo, you good? You all right?
All good, thanks. Yeah, all good. Looking forward to the show. Looking forward to reading the comments. Looking forward to everybody enjoying the show, hopefully. And yeah. Spurs again, isn't it? It's so typical. You know, we nearly got a penalty, hit the post, great goalkeeping save. Could have been 2 goals up at that stage, and we end up losing to a late goal.
I've got to be honest with you, Lubo. My son shouted at me, and rightly so, because I said I put Semenyo in my. I forgot I had Semenyo in my fantasy football. I said he hasn't been that great the last 2 or 3 games. Why did you just say that? I said, what do you mean? It's his birthday today. It's his last game, right? Yeah. And then literally no more than 2 minutes later, he scored. And
it was written in the script, wasn't it?
Written. If it had been a Hollywood script, they would have said, cut that crap. It's too far-fetched.
Yeah.
But it's Dr. Tottenham.
That's
Here
right.
we are.
When Lubo said Spurs again, I thought you were going to break out into Ben Davies again, or Ole, but I guess not. For anyone that's interested, I'm good as well. I'm in Cyprus, although it's not so sunny at the moment. But It's nice. It's nice over here. Let's bring in our guests, everyone. So the first special guest of the evening.
Where is he?
At the door. I wonder who's at the door.
Hey!
It's Billy T in the
Right,
house.
right.
How you doing, Billy? Welcome. Debut on the Spurs Five.
Well, my
Finally.
second,
Finally.
yeah, and got the scarf out, boys.
He's
down.
ready.
Yeah. Wave
Enough
it,
is enough.
I'm
We
proud.
can't go on no more. We can't go on now. Yeah.
How you doing, Billy? I know Spurs are in the mud and it's Groundhog Day, but other than Spurs, how's life? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. But I don't remember Spurs being this chaotic for a long time. Like, Jesus. Players fighting the fans, managers fighting the fans, just, Romero's fighting the board. I think Romero might attend the next CFT protest, by the way. He's going to get a personal invite. But yeah, it's chaos in it. I can't believe how bad it's gone.
So, someone on the internet said that Romero's had his Conte moment.
Well, he's not far off it. He's not far off of it. I love the way it's been redacted or forcibly reworded overnight.
And Thomas Frank called it a mistake, but I don't see any mistake about it.
No mistake. No mistake whatsoever. Look, it's the meeting that was rumoured to have taken place. I don't know what happened there to that one. We'll find out about that a bit later, maybe.
We do have another guest, and I can hear that doorbell ring-a-ding-dinging. Just in case you thought you were going to abuse me and Lubo tonight, well, you've got another one. Sam, welcome to the show. What an intro.
Let the
Straight
abuse
under a bus.
begin.
Straight under a bus you go.
To the bus. Listen, look, we're all in it together. When all's said and done, we're all long-suffering Spurs fans that have one common goal. All we want to do is see our club win games and the fans come to the game and leave happy. It's something that we have hardly experienced in the last 3 years if you take away Bilbao. And Bilbao's not enough to placate the crap that's gone on since 2019, in my opinion. And that's been generous, 2019.
Sam,
Yes.
you all right? You good? Everything all right?
Yeah, Sean messaged me and said, "Do you fancy an evening of being berated and abused?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So here I am, and I hope you don't mind. I'm having a cheeky little beer, and I'm really chilled, man. I'm really chilled. It is what it is.
Can I ask a question? I don't know whether it came across last night on the television, but quite a few times during the game, when it seemed to be that Vicario was our most important player, because I think he touched the ball twice, 3 times as much as anyone else. Could the people on the TV hear us singing sideways and backwards everywhere we go? Sideways and backwards. And I was singing it. Even at half time when I went into the toilet, right? The entire toilet was singing sideways and backwards. Our latest track.
That's the new song, isn't it?
Brentford. Since Brentford, it's sideways and backwards everywhere we go.
It's the new song to go with Davis again, LA.
Yeah. No, I just wondered whether it came across. You could hear it on the
really
television.
clearly, yeah.
You could.
The away fans are brilliant, to be fair. We were really loud. I don't know if they were mic'd by the mic, but they were so loud. On TV.
No. They sang literally the entire game, which they've done despite this horrific, some of the horrific performances that we've experienced. Where do you want to start, Stel?
Well, I think it's only appropriate because we as a channel haven't had the opportunity to just very, very quickly just condolences, RIP to club legend Martin Chivers. I know everyone else has managed to do this yesterday, but we never got a chance because we weren't live. So look, very quickly, if you just want to say something, guys, go for it. But it's only right we just acknowledge what a good footballer actually looked like at this football club. and Martin Chivers was regarded as a good football player at Spurs.
He was a great growing up as a kid, Stel. I remember the chants used to go out when he had the ball for a throw-in. They used to shout, "Chivers, Chivers," and he was pre Liam Delap, Rory Delap, should I say? And he was the most unbelievable header of the ball, incredible header of the ball. I used to say to him, because I saw him up at the club quite a few times recently, and I said to him, heading the ball at 80 years, because you hear all these stories about them heading the ball and the brain damage and all the rest of it. I said, for someone who headed the ball as often and as hard as you did, you've still got all your faculties. Really nice, lovely guy, true gentleman, and the fourth best goal scorer. I think fourth or fifth best goal scorer of all time at the club, and a winner, a European winner. Yeah. And listen, a proper legend. Quite often it's loosely used term. I believe he is a Spurs legend. True as the word.
And do you know what? When we bought him, we broke the transfer record. I think it was 69 or 70, 125,000. And if you said Drogba, if Drogba would ever say that he based his game on Chivers, he would be spot on, because that Chivers was the pre-Drogba. He got the ball, you couldn't shake him off. He went through defenders like they weren't there. I just remember some great nights at Molineux when he was smashing in goals from 20 yards in UEFA Cup, UEFA Cup and finals and League Cup semi-finals over 2 years. He was a phenomenal player and a nice guy. I was lucky enough to had a chat with him and Pat Jennings in the ground before the Champions League final in Madrid. Just wanted to talk football. Just a normal guy wanted to speak football. And it's such a shame another legend has gone to heaven. Shame. Real shame.
Billy Sava, I don't know if you want to say anything. I mean, I can't really say too much because it wasn't my era.
Yeah. So don't be fooled people.
I never watched him play. I've seen archive videos, and that's kind of my memory of him. Billy Sava.
I echo that completely. It's one of those names that have gone down in folklore forever, and as part of the fabric of the club. So will always be a Tottenham legend. A bit before my time, but heard about him from my dad and my granddad. So rest in peace.
Yeah, my uncle said to me yesterday. He said, if only these young fans today had seen Chivers, they wouldn't be bigging up half the footballers they big up in these days. So and also to Yorif as well, by the way, who passed away today. There's two ex-Spurs in 24 hours. So
he was an animal. He was old as nails. Him and Graham Souness were like, I mean, honestly. Yeah, he didn't fear anything. He didn't fear anything. Again, a player right now that we could 100% deal with.
And which academy did Souness come out of?
Spurs.
That's right.
Yeah. When academies actually meant something at Spurs, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. R.I.P. Condolences to the families of Martin Chivers and Terry Yorif. Sad, but that's life, guys. I think we should begin with... Let's briefly discuss the Bournemouth game, because it's a game that happened. We always talk about the matches, but I think it's more what happened before the game with the Arsenal Cup, after the game with Van der Ven, then Romero, then Porro going after the fans. Then Paddy Power absolutely ripping us a new one. And then we've woken up today with basically Romero going to war with the club. And then the people he called liars have told him to edit his comments and lie about what he said, which he's done. So who's the liar, Romero or the... Listen, before and after the game, there's more to talk about, but let's try and talk a little bit about the game. What did you guys think of the game? To me, it looked like the first 15 and the last 15 minutes we were good. The 60 minutes in the middle was the usual kind of nonsense we've been watching for the last couple of months. Probably a draw would have been fair, but that's not football. They took their chances. We didn't. Johnny, you were at the game, mate. Describe it. What did you see? What did you think? And once you've summarised it, do you think Frank is in trouble in terms of keeping his job? Once you summarise the game.
Listen, look, I feel a bit conflicted in this game because I came out the ground absolutely fuming. I was livid. First of all, I was trying to race to the car, and I was my report at the end was pretty crap. I didn't think it was very concise, but the first 15 minutes, I thought we did well. Nice back heel for Xavi to set up Matthias Tell. I don't know if it was a great shot. I think it surprised me, but he put the ball in the net and great stuff. But then they came into the game and we had 2 or 3 warnings when Taverner put the ball into the box and we struggled to deal with it. And they tried to put a through ball in. And I said, unless we address this, we're going to concede either from a set piece or for a ball straight through the middle. And I said this 2 or 3 times. And then sure enough, Evan Nielsen, I thought it was a fantastic header. I've got to be honest with you. I thought nothing would have changed that. I thought it was a really good header. The second goal, though, was shocking. First, second ball, no excuses. It was poor. And to be honest with you, the rest of the half, we looked pretty clueless. I think it was Bournemouth all the way. Most people were pretty pissed off at half time. But I thought we came out the second half with quite a lot of purpose. And if I'm honest, I think we were quite unlucky. Personally, I thought it was a stonewall penalty. Then I get told by everyone it's not a penalty. But when I got home and I looked at it again, I thought it was a penalty. What I thought was the initial push away, the push away onto the player was the incident, the penalty. Again, we didn't get it. But I saw then that Mickey van der Ven completely lost it. He was screaming at the referee. He was going mental. He was just going mental the entire time. And no surprise, he got a yellow card. And he was still steaming about 10 minutes afterwards. You had Richarlison, who did well to get his noggin to the ball. A lot of people said he should have done better. I thought he did well to get to the ball in the first place. Unlucky. Mickey's great header onto the bar. I thought Paulinia's overhead kick was superb, and the runaway towards the fans was fantastic. Showed the passion that I want to see from my players. Running towards the fan, and the fans responded in the way, and it really lifted us up. And I believe that most Spurs fans thought if there was going to be any winner in that game, it was going to be us. And when Petrovic clawed that Mickey van der Ven header away from the bar, I thought, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? I'll be happy with the draw. And then, unfortunately, the ending, it's written in the stars. The worst Hollywood script ever. It's his birthday. It's his final game. 95th minute, almost the last kick of the ball, and he puts the ball in the net. Absolutely gutted. I thought we deserved more. Maybe others will disagree. It's always a different perspective when you're at the ground to when you're watching on television. I then went down and then I saw Mickey walking from the middle of his goal, and already he had a face like thunder. I think he was ready to confront someone before anyone had said anything. And the face, if you look at one of the videos that I posted, he's coming towards everyone before he's actually even pointed anyone out. So all this, like someone had said something. I think someone maybe have said something after he steamed towards the fans with a face like thunder, looking like he wanted a row. Porro came to his defence, saying he's not going to take this, he's not going to take the abuse. And then it took a loanee who doesn't even know his future at the club to walk towards the fans, to placate them, to apologise and say, look, we are trying. We want to win. We want to win for you. Where was the captain? The captain had walked down the tunnel. What does that say?
Sava, let's go to one of the guests. Do you agree with Johnny? Do you disagree? Do you think it was a penalty, not a penalty? Romero, anything else you want to bring up?
I agree that we didn't deserve to lose. I wouldn't say we massively deserved to win, but I wasn't really bothered by Bournemouth at any point. I thought Bournemouth had that really good 10, 15-minute spell where they put in some... I mean, Tavernier put in some lovely crosses, didn't he? Some really good crosses. First one, I think Romero again for me. I won't say, I know it upsets Lubo. I think Romero for me at fault for the goal. I thought he could have got closer to his man. Never does. Still gets lauded as a great centre half, but every game it's a mistake from that bloke. Second goal, just all of them, just absolutely terrible. No one closing down the cross. Yeah. No one trying to get their head on the ball. And I'll be honest, that's why I want to see Danso play. If I'm brutally honest, he puts his head on absolutely everything. The game in general, I think still pretty much had it summed up with his. I thought the first 20 minutes, I thought we were looking better. We looked the better team, but it was almost like we ran out of ideas, and the powder puff forwards had no real way to break them down. And then Johnny's right; it was written in the stars. So we said before the game, Lubo, you came on my show before the game. We said they've not won in 11. Semenyo's last game. I mean, this was all written for Dr. Tottenham and Semenyo to sign off in style. 95th minute. Look, it was kind of like that game was indicative of our season, right? Some good bits, some shit bits, and ultimately Spursy. So I don't agree with Johnny on the penalty. I don't think it was a penalty in any way, shape, or form. But hey, that's football. And what was really concerning for me was after that, when Van der Ven started throwing his toys out the pram, that's where I want to see Romero as a captain grab him and go, "What are you doing?" Really, really worried that this is the captain of our football club. If I'm brutally honest, from what he says to how he acts. He talks a lot off the pitch, never seems to do his talking on the pitch. But look, it was a typical day at the office still. I'm not expecting a lot. I didn't think there was much in it. I didn't think they were great. I didn't think we were great. But you know me still. I don't expect anything from this Spurs. That's just me. I don't really expect anything from this Spurs 11. I think this is one of the weakest 11s I've seen in 3 decades. I think it's absolutely atrocious what we've assembled. Just me. But I don't know if you want me to answer the question about Frank as well. I don't know about his job. If you wanted me to.
Yeah, in fact, please
well.
answer it. And then I want Johnny to answer as well because he forgot to. But yeah, what do you think? Is Frank, is he in trouble?
Yeah, he's dead. He's a dead man walking. He's a dead man walking. I think the only thing that might save him at the moment will be the fact that we are in a transfer window. But that might also be his undoing. It might be that they sack him and then that's the excuse again to not buy. Oh, well, we were going to buy, but we changed manager and yada, yada, yada. I think what might save this guy as well is that there's no plan. I mean, the word plan shouldn't be in the vocabulary for any Spurs fan. There's just zero plan. But I'll say this, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later on in the show still. I've got no problem with Thomas Frank getting sacked today, tomorrow, Saturday, whatever. I just truly believe that absolutely nothing will change. I think a lot of fans have got it in their mind that lots is going to change if Frank is sacked. I'm looking at the players available, the number of injuries, all the players that we're missing, all of our forwards at the moment, all Kudus, Maddison, Kulu, Solanke, all out for the foreseeable. I don't think anything's going to change. So I'm all for him going, but this is my line at the moment still. I said to you earlier, just sacking Frank isn't the one. It can't just be Frank. It's got to be people above him as well. If you just sack Frank, you've still got Lang, you've still got Enoch, you've still got Vinay. There is no plan. So for me, bring in whichever manager you want right now. I think it's going to be putting a plaster over surgery. Not saying that should keep Frank in a job at all, but I just think I've not seen it this bad still for 3 decades. And what I mean by that is I've seen worse squads, but I've never seen a squad without a... Remember when we were crap in the 90s, but you knew Sheringham was going to bang in 30 goals, right? You knew he was going to bang in 30 goals. We've had crap teams, but you knew Ledley was at the back and it was okay. You knew Ginola was on the left wing. You knew Modric and Bale. I'm looking at it now going, this is the... Honestly, there's not one player in this Spurs team other than Mickey, who, sure, that I would be really bothered if I woke up tomorrow and they'd be sold. So, yeah, I think he's going to go. Do I think it's going to make a difference? I genuinely don't. So that's where I'm at with it. Before everyone thinks I'm a Frank lover, a Frank sexual, sack him. I think he's going to go. I just don't think it's going to make a blind bit of difference. That's
before I bring in Billy T, Lubo, you didn't answer the question.
I didn't answer the question, you mean?
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah, Johnny, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, just
be brief.
I'll be brief. I'll be as brief as possible. Right, basically, we are rotten from top to bottom. Okay, this is more than Frank. Did I want Frank? 100%. Did I want Ange out? 100%. What I will say is, eventually, all of us will be correct. Whether you wanted Frank in, Frank out. Ange in, Ange out. Eventually, we're always all right because a manager's life is normally no more than 18 months. And in this club, even less. But it shouldn't be about us being right or us being wrong. It should be about...
No, Lubo, sorry, Johnny, the question is, do you think he's in trouble right now?
Yeah, well, of course he's in trouble. Yeah, 100% he's in trouble. Of course he's in trouble. Look, he's signing his own death warrant by the comments he makes, right, and the things that he says and the way the tactics are run out. But I'm with Sava on this in the sense that I think in a lot of aspects, his hands are tied. And no matter what, this is going to be the same shit no matter who comes in. I see people saying, bring back Ryan Mason. I mean, like, some of the stuff is nonsensical, right? Look, all I'm saying is, let's ride it out. Let's ride this bitch, right, all the way down to the wire in the summer, and let's regroup. And if it's Frank out, so be it. But all I know is in the summer, there's at least 4 or 5 top managers who can't do a worse job than what's going on right now. But we need more than Thomas Frank gone. We need Johan Lang gone. We need a top director of football. We need top recruitment. This shit ain't gonna get cured overnight. Let's Billy go in now. Come on.
Billy, same question to you, your thoughts on the game, and then after your kind of thoughts, do you think Frank is in trouble? I know you've not been a big fan of Frank for quite a while now, so I think you're going to have a slightly different take on this, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I just want to start off there by giving him, I've got a little gift for him. It's a cup with Tottenham on it. So hopefully he can take this to games from now on. It's got Coys on it and Tottenham.
Straight in.
Let's try and start with that. That'd be a good start. And yeah, I mean, I just think the job's too big for him, to be honest. I don't think he's got the. I think he's fallen under the weight of it a few times. You can see that by the time that, some of the quotes that he comes out with, I think he's in self-preservation mode now, and everything that he says seems to be attacking, often the fans or belittling the club and things like that. I know it's sometimes a reality check, but at the same time, it's not often what you want to hear from your manager. I don't think he's a good fit for our club. Completely agree with Sava, though, that he is not the main problem at this football club. It goes way beyond him. He's still a problem, but he's not the major problem. I think anyone that sort of was fooled into thinking this would be a new start under the Lewis family, fresh ideas, that's already immediately fallen apart, I would suggest. Same old rubbish, really, isn't it? I mean, we're going into a game-changing January window and putting in an $8 million offer for a 19-year-old Brazilian left-back, to me, that says not much has really changed. No signs of any sort of needle-moving players anywhere near, no links to anything meaningful. We're a mess, and I think Enoch and Levy will cast a shadow of mess at this club until they're gone. I think we need a clean break from Enoch and Daniel Levy going is not that. We need a clean break from Enoch if we ever want to be serious as a football club. Because, time, and there's 25 years of evidence that they don't care. So all that to say that I don't think Thomas Frank is the main problem, but, I do think the Tottenham job is too big for him. I actually thought yesterday, played all right in some spells. I thought Taylor had a really good game. We had particularly in the first half, we had some real attacking intent in our Xavi got a really good assist. But there's no defensive structure at all. It's so easy to score against. Like Evan Nielsen having a free header in the box. It's just, there's nothing there. And I think the back four, we would talk last season, we spoke about having those four fit, but they've been fit pretty much all season, but with shipping goals left, right and centre. So I think Savra is completely right. The playing staff, the playing squad is nowhere near the level it needs to be for it to be where we want them to be. So, lots and lots of problems, a complete mess. And I think there's only one finger to point at, and that's Enoch.
Do you think Frank is close to losing his job, Billy? Yeah,
I do. I think Aston Villa will be massive. Going out of a cup, we've got no chance to win the Champions League. We're drifting in the league. The only way that we can get really fans on side for this the rest of the season is having a good cup run, but that could be eliminated straight away on Saturday. So obviously we're out in the Carabao as well. FA Cup, we want an FA Cup run. That might back him a bit more time. We saw that with Arteta in his first season and stuff. If you want a good cup run, as Ange last year kept him in the job, didn't it, the Europa League. But I think we'll be out the cup, and then so look at the fixtures that we've got in February: Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United. Two Champions League before that, and a Champions League playoff. If we probably, I can't see him. There's no way that he's going to be a manager in March. There's no chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know? It's funny you mentioned Enoch, and I just quickly looked at Sky Sports to see the Arsenal-Liverpool score, and it was like breaking news: Man United fan group planning protest to get Ineos out after they just had a massive protest to get the Glazers out. They were, mate. If we're a basket case, what the hell are they?
Like Chelsea as well, isn't it? Blue coat at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, Blue coat or Clear Lake. Who do you want?
Yeah.
Chelsea. Do you know what? No one except for really Arsenal fans seem to be happy with their own.
And that's the worst thing about everything, isn't it?
Yeah, that's that. Do you, very quickly, Billy, do you think that's making it worse for us? The fact that Arsenal are having they look like they're going to win the league.
Euros, being a Tottenham fan, of course it does. Even if it might be, under the surface, but I think the big thing for me is not that they're going to win the league. It's just how well structured they are. They are built a team and built a success that could last for like next decade or so. They just continually spent on quality players, improved first squad, year on year, transfer window. And the scary thing is they could set to dominate for the next 5, 6, 7 years now, which is depressing, isn't it?
Do you know what's depressing for me? 5 years ago, we looked like the team that was about to do that, and they were completely broken. And in 5 years, it's just flipped, and it's actually worse the way it's flipped because we're worse than what they were when they were bad. Yeah.
This is just the start as well, isn't it? The real worry is if they ever won the Champions League, which be a stupid person to bet against that the way that they're going.
Yeah, the only thing I cling on to is they always seem to slip up in Europe, but let's see how long that lasts for.
It's magnified, isn't it? It's magnified. Everything Arsenal do well is magnified our inefficiencies. Go on, Lubo.
See, do you know what? Very quickly, it's funny you say that because if Arsenal were doing crap right now, that whole Frank holding an Arsenal Cup thing would be seen in a complete different light. But because they're doing so well, could he have done anything worse? Could Frank have done anything worse than to drink from an Arsenal Cup, given the circumstances? But Lube, the game yesterday, how did you see it? And do you think Frank is on the brink, or do you think they'll keep him to the end of the season?
Start with the game. I expected Spurs to be better than previous games and have more attacks because Bournemouth do play an open game. It was typical Spurs. Play very well in parts, played poorly to the middle part of the game, and again lost a game they should never have lost because of errors. Because of our errors. There was nothing great about any of the goals. You look at the third goal. Just okay, it was a lovely shot from Semenya, but what was Spence doing? Running down the wing. All he had to do minutes ago, play it down the line. If it breaks down, at least you're not in trouble. No, he plays a little ball square, and we're wide open, and we're caught. Romero failed to close down Semenya. He was like watching, and that's just typical. These are self-enforced errors. We're not losing to brilliant goals. Virtually every game we've lost, every goal we've conceded, has been down to our poor play and our poor defensive work. And we started off so well, didn't we? In terms of even defensively for the season, we started off with 14 points from 7 games. We won at Leeds. We got to the October international break. We had 4 out of 6 in Europe. We easily disposed of Doncaster, and the season was looking much brighter. And you think to yourself, there is a structure, there's discipline, it's organised. Listen, there have been Bournemouth was a poor performance. Villarreal, Doncaster weren't great. But by and large, majority of the games, mainly away, were very good. And it's all sort of gone off the rails. So linking yesterday's game with Frank, I said the other week, having seen the way the first 20 games gone, that's now 29, I think, or 30. I think I overrated the squad. I thought Frank would do more in terms of stabilising the team overall. I thought at the halfway stage, we'd have a few good results, a few bad results, which in fairness we did. But I just think it's average. And then I just look at the bigger picture, and we've got current owners who have sat back and let another team get on with running the club. There's obviously problems with recruitment because why is Perisic going or allegedly leaving? He's in there to work with Lange and Frank. That obviously hasn't worked. So that's broken down. So that shows for me poor judgment in putting the two of them together as joint directors of football by Vinay. I'm sure there are players that they're disagreeing on. I'm sure that's probably the reason for the fallout. I can't think of any other reason, because they're both looking at players. They're both putting together players. Frank's asking for players to come to the club, and if Lange and Perisic are not working on the same page, you've got a major problem. You've got a major problem, and you can't have two bosses. So Charlie and Vivian have left it to Vinay. I think Vinay is a number 2. Don't think personally, from what I can see, he's gone missing. It's all very well coming out doing a video with Levy in the summer. Where is he now? This is the master communicator. We haven't seen him for months. Why isn't he coming out and talking to the fans? Once again, the fans get ignored. It was a bit like when Donna Cullen was here. I remember with Wembley. First it was one season, then it was going to be the August, then it was going to be September, then it was going to be November, then it was going to be March, and we finished up moving in April. And there was no communication. The communication with the fans regarding Wembley and how White Hart Lane was going, and I'll always call it White Hart Lane. Forget the Tottenham Stadium. This is White Hart Lane we play in. And the communication doesn't seem to have improved.
Romero said it last night, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? He ripped into the owners, and quite rightly so. And do I think Frank will go? Yes, I think Frank will go. I would love to see Pochettino come in. I think it's necessary. I'm not saying there aren't better managers. I'd love Nagelsmann to come in. I think Nagelsmann would do a great job. I think Tuchel would do a good job in the summer. There are some good managers that are becoming available in the summer. But I think the way the fans are, and the fans are really fed up with years and years and years of underachievement. And I agree with Johnny. Bilbao was a lovely day. It was a great day, and it was a great parade. But boy, did we suffer last year before that. And there was nothing substantial left after Bilbao for the next manager to take on, unfortunately. And this is the result of 10 years of bad recruitment. So
I was just going to add, last night when I was stood by the entrance, I was waiting there and I saw all the Bournemouth players and some of the subs signing autographs for the kids. And just in my periphery, my son said, "Look who's behind you." And I saw Vinay, literally was like right here, Vinay and Lurch, as I call him, Johan Lang. And I called out. Now, Paratici would have turned around. He would have been chatting to us. He would have interacted with us. He understood what the fan base was like. He understood what it was like to be a director of football, because this is the guy that's operated at the top. We've seen loads of the fans with pictures of Paratici, conversations they've had with Paratici. These two went in like an aloof double act with Lurch on one side and Vinay on the other. And I just thought to myself, you know what? And I'm thinking, is this our golden double? Mate, he's got a personality of magnolia wallpaper. I then stood there and the Spurs coach turns up. And I thought, I'll wait and see the kids, see them come off, right? So all the kids are lined up. This is great.
Thomas Frank was wearing an Arsenal coat, wasn't he?
I don't know what I saw. I didn't even see him come off.
Can I ask a question to Lubo?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question, Lubo. You mentioned there about Poch coming back, which I fully think is just, this is all nostalgia. That's only my opinion. Do you think it matters if Poch comes back if it's still under either Lang or Paratici? Because for me, I feel like whoever you bring in, I feel like this is just a terrible setup. I feel like we'd be
I'll answer
Can I just finish what I was about to? Sorry, can I just finish, Sava? I'm just about to finish off right about this club. When they came off for the coach, you got a few kids at the front, okay, all waiting to say hi to their heroes, right? This isn't a time for can I have your shirt? This is just hi. Can you sign my top? Can you sign my finger? Whatever. And high five and fist pump, right? They put their hoods on and they walk right past the fans, one by one by one. Kevin Danso comes out for the middle. Kevin. Walk right past them, right? Player after player after player, right? The only two that acknowledged them, the captain walked off like he couldn't give a shit, right? Straight past everybody. Paulinho put his hand up and smiled. The only player that stopped is the one player that gets more abuse at this club than anyone else. Richarlison. He stood there and he signed shirts for like 4 or 5 kids. And I thought to myself, do you not understand? People say, oh, this is modern footballers. What do you want them to do? Come and start having a conversation. No, I expect them to acknowledge the fan base, right?
Johnny, at the start of the season, you were consistent in saying that Lange was like a waste of time. What we're doing with him?
Yeah, still
bring
think
back Paratici.
Yeah,
but you did speak quite highly of Vinay. Have you now changed your views on Vinay at Spurs?
I think. Excuse me. I think I have to wait on that one, right? I mean, what we've seen so far as the communicator, no, but I'm not sure what he's communicating behind the scenes as far as what is going on. But if he does not communicate some sort of message to us by the time this transfer window closes, yeah, I will be looking at changing my mind. What I would say to you is, though, he also rode out the period of time and backed Arteta during what Arsenal fans would describe as one of their worst periods. So I'm not on the Vinay as a champion, but I'm not on Vinay's absolute toilet just yet. But I'm definitely 100% Johan Lang is not fit for purpose. We know that Paratici said, well, I know he said he's not coming back unless he's number one. He's got no interest in coming back as number two. And the fact that he's walked out the door at the eve of the transfer window tells you everything you need to know about what is going on.
But Paratici's still here. He hasn't gone.
Well, if he leaves, I'm saying.
Oh, right. Okay, if he leaves.
Yeah,
right.
if he
Bill,
leaves.
I'm sorry. I'll just give me a few minutes here. I'll answer Sav first.
Lubo, where's the files, mate? There's
Files are gone. Files are
the
gone.
files are gone, guys.
Why? Hold on. Why have the files gone? What's happened?
Files are
Those
gone.
are the files. Where have they gone?
They're invoice files. They just get, they get put away, and after 7 years, they get in.
Tottenham files, mate.
I thought it was the Spurs manifesto of how we're going to fix the club.
They're like the Epstein files, Billy.
Phil, if you want Spurs manifesto, mate, it's here.
Oh my God! 1 minute. What was Saba's question, by the way?
About Poch.
Saba, can you repeat the question quickly so we can all?
Yeah, it was just about we all know Lubo's very nostalgic. So when you talk about which striker do you want, it's Kane. Which manager do you want, is Poch. My question is, I've got nothing against Poch, but my question is, does it matter if you bought Poch back now, but it's the same setup above with Vinay, Lang, Paratici? Does anything actually change? Because we can't scout for toffee. So does anything change? Would you want him back with this setup, or would he have to come with a Paul Mitchell, a Ralph Rangnick, somebody who runs football?
I'd like to see Poch with Mitchell. I think he showed, we talk about Frank, this job being too big for him, coming out with stuff like, we're going to be good for 10 games, bad for X amount of games. That's not how a manager talks at a top club. You would never hear.
We're not a top club.
Klopp, Guardiola. No, but we were.
Let me just put that straight out there. We're not a top club.
Right.
So
okay, but you aspire to be, and you want your managers to aspire to that as well. I'm just gonna read out a text that I put out on Stell's WhatsApp group, just to sum up how I feel, because I think we're sort of seeding into the Enoch part of the show.
Go on, get it off your chest. Go on, get it off your chest.
Okay.
it's
Right. Micro recruitment / managers players is a shambles currently, but the macro owners have been the problem for 25 years. Lewis and Levy, I'm thinking about it, Sugar as well, have neglected the football side, but you can be lucky with Barber, Edwards, Paul Mitchell, Yole, Redknapp, Poch, Jose Conte, players in several managers' teams, but once all the talent leaves, Kane and Son being the last, the cupboard is now bare. The mess the club are in should come as no surprise. This is why fans are arguing about managers, and stroke Frank, and players who are so far off the standard required by this great club. But this is taking our eye off the much bigger issue. We need Enoch to sell ASAP and new owners who are driven and committed to making the football side successful. As the banner at last year's demo accurately stated, built a business, should I say, and destroyed a football club. Now, I'll add to that. I was having a chat with Sava earlier, and he said, what would you do? And I said, I've spoken on this channel and other channels about Tottenham adopting an Ajax-type football club background, a structure regarding recruitment. And what I would love to see personally is for new owners to come in, and for people who get the club, who understand the club and can advise this board of directors and the recruitment team to be on the board, people like Steve Perryman, Glenn Hoddle, Ozzy Ardiles, people like this who get the club and know what Tottenham stands for, and they love the club. I'm sick to death of people at the club not giving a shit about our great club. This has gone on for a very, very long time.
The problem is, Lubo, do you want?
Can I get an answer? Can I get an answer to my question though? Like I thought it was a really inspiring speech, but I feel like you didn't actually answer what I asked you. I feel like, so would you bring Poch back if you knew it was under Paratici and Lang?
I've got some notes I want to read now. So no, I'm joking.
Would you
yes.
I don't. By the way, Lubo, I don't disagree with a word you've just said, but I wouldn't want to bring someone like Poch. And this goes back to my wider point about the manager. We can sit and talk about we want Xavi Hernandez, we want Nagelsmann. I don't trust the recruitment setup that you bring in any of these managers that anything changes. So that's why I said, would you still want Poch, knowing that Lang is going to be the guy bringing him in 19-year-old left backs from Brazil and Tells and Odebers and Grays and Burt? Would you really want that?
I don't think Poch would join unless he had his own people.
Right.
Doing
Okay.
Martin Lubo King.
That's brilliant.
Oh, dear. Very good. Can I just say this is to Billy and to Lubo and to myself, really. We want new owners, right? But do we talk about getting our identity back and who this club is? Would a private equity company like a Clear Lake Capital or someone of that ilk really give the club our identity back, or would they be an owner that would only be interested in the bottom line of profit, like Chelsea are? I mean, I call Chelsea eBay FC because they're about trading. And I wonder, because we want change so badly and we want to get our identity back, would a takeover by a private equity company and that give us that? What do you think, Billy?
Well, I think it's an interesting question for sure, but I think the idea of what an identity is, I don't think we're so far beyond it now. I don't think anyone really even knows what Tottenham's identity is. It's so far muddied from now. Yeah. There's no identity at the moment at the football club. And what Sav was saying at the beginning about no plan, there's no identity either. Like, we just go from manager to manager, no coherent style of play. We've gone from Ange to Thomas Frank. You could not get two polar opposites of managers if you tried. There's no coherent plan whatsoever. They're just going from next manager to next manager. You would hope that whoever came in next, well, what I would suggest is it can't be much worse. Kind of like what could possibly happen for it to be worse in the 25 years that we've had, like just constantly being let down by poor footballing decisions. Whoever it is, I assume that they're going to have the sort of enough money to run £1 billion football club, and if they have any ounce of ambition, then it'll be better than what we've got now. So bring it on.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys?
Levy? We miss Levy. He had parts.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you think Levy would have sacked Frank by now?
Well, he didn't sack Ange, did he?
Well, yeah. Well, that's a good
hang
point.
on, Ange had pictures of Daniel. That's different.
Don't you think the only reason they didn't sack Ange is because they had a meeting and they decided that they felt he could actually win the Europa, which meant back in the Champions League and that conversation we had
in the summer still.
Yeah, but don't you think that they bought into the idea that he could actually win the Europa and they didn't want to disturb that opportunity?
No, last roll of the dice for Levy.
The manager you bought in last year would have won that Europa League with look, it's strange, isn't it? Because Johnny makes a good point.
I'm talking about the conversation with Levy and Ange. Do you think that they had that chat that, all right, look, it's not going well in the league, but you got to win that Europa, mate. You have to. And Ange said, I'll do it. I can do it. Do you think that might have happened?
I don't know.
I think Levy got so much grief over the continual changing of managers.
Well, sacking Jose before a final as well. That was a big.
I know. And you've never seen Levy open the purse strings for the amount of money and give a manager 380 million, have you?
No.
So I think for Levy it was a roll of the dice. I've got to give someone a chance, and I'm gonna back him as well. Although, at the end of the day, there's backing and backing, isn't there? There's giving someone money and saying, right, okay. I mean, the average buy was 21 million over 2 years per player, and he bought 18 players. Yeah. Liverpool bought more and spent it on 5 players. We spent it on 18. So
finished fifth and got Solankian teenagers. That's how much.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys a question about this ownership, right? Because I've got something that is going to be controversial, but I believe it. I actually believe it. I do. I want to do the super chats quickly, get them out of the way. Then I want to bring this up and see what you guys think. Thank you very much to Bourbon Buzzard for the super stick. Unfortunately, I don't have Sean Butler's choo-choo train sound, but anyway, choo-choo to you. A user, thank you as always. Enoch, buy potential, sell hope, repeat cycle. Yes, spot on, mate.
Yeah.
Dean Law, super sticker, choo-choo to you as well. Bourbon Buzzard, again, I said on Sean's show, it's a transfer window. Land should be too busy to go to Bournemouth. He's a waste of space. I think a lot of people agree with you, especially Johnny. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I thought someone was going to say something.
Right,
Super Air Lie Birds. That's one hell of a name. Channel member for a month. Thank you very much. 855 million in 5 years spent. Top 5 in the Premiership, and we're talking about the players. It is surely the fault of the stupid, uneducated board. We are going to discuss that next. Super Air Birds and Stephen J. Cam, channel member as well. Well, just became a channel member. Thank you very much. And Danny the Bun. Big up, you bunch of bozos, sharing his love as always. Big up to Danny. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, 3 years ago, I put a message on Twitter saying, the fans are the problem, I blame the fans. And I got cancelled. That was the beginning of the end of me on social media. All fucking hell broke loose off the back of that. World War III. That's it. I'm done. Social media. See you later. 3 years later, I stick by those comments, okay? And I want to tell you what I mean by that. 62,000 fans go to that home ground. Take away the away end. What's that left? About 58,000? Is that right? Something like that? 59,000. Okay, so 59,000 Spurs fans go to the home games. 2,000 protest, and of the 2,000, only 500 stage a sit-in. So that is 57,000 fans on a regular basis that do not have any interest in taking any kind of action. So many have YouTube channels. This isn't direct to anyone. They've got YouTubers, podcasters, so many in the Watch Our Show, Savage Show, his show, We Are Tottenham TV, Expressions, Last One on Spurs. They watch all these shows, and these shows get 20,000, 30,000 views, lots of views. Do fans really want a change? Is my question, guys? Because Johnny, you say we all want Enoch out. Us five, maybe.
Yeah.
But the reality is, the most we can get to a protest is just under 3% of the attendance on a match day.
You know what?
So for me, the fans that don't take action but moan, complain, have got a problem with this, problem with that, every single season, are they not the problem?
Well,
I'm not trying to direct this to anyone. I'm just saying, because I said this 3 years ago, and I'm still seeing the same thing now.
Can I give you an analogy? Probably not the one that's going to do me any favours, but I see all the people who have been constantly moaning about the Mayor of London, right? Completely moaning and moaning and moaning how he's destroying London, right? Years and years and years of it. And yet, when it came to the time to vote with their feet and declare it's time for change, no one got up off of their arse and did it. And guess what? They're sitting there moaning, the same people. I turn around and I say to them, did you vote? Did you get up? Did you do something about it? No. Well, you can't complain. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the complaint, right? You've had 5 years to see the shit show that they performed, and you've not done anything. And that's what's going on with Enoch. Right now, it feels like a wolf in sheep's clothing. We can't trust. This fan base has given up the trust. The trust game is gone, right? So it's up to Enoch's new owners, whether it's them or not, to build that trust back and to give us hope. Right now, we've got no hope. There is no trust. And what we're left with is a team that's threadbare and stripped of the stars that we once had. There's no Bales, there's no Kanes, there's no Sons. and we're left with scraps. We're left with sand. It's all poured through our fingers, and we're left holding nothing. And it's up to the fans now, Stel, right? Do you care enough?
This is my point.
Get up off your ass and do something about it, or do you want to sit at home and moan about it?
By the way, I do want to say, I appreciate that there's fans that can't afford to come to London, or there's fans overseas. I'm specifically talking about, we continually, maybe not so much this season because fans they're just not interested in going, but we have continuously got so many thousands of fans going to the stadium, but yet a tiny percentage want to take action, but the majority want to moan, groan, complain every single season. So, Billy, let me bring you in on this, because obviously you lead change for Tottenham, and I know you've got an exclusive you wanted to share with us. If you want to do it now, later on, feel free. But Billy, I hear this on a lot of shows, right? Fans aren't the problem. You can't blame the fans. Billy, I disagree. I think you can blame the fans, not the ones that take action. But I think people are scared to say that because there'll be a backlash. But I'm not here to give lip service. I say it as I see it. Most fans don't seem to give a shit about actually doing something. And I get some fans, it's difficult. So, of course, I'm not just trying to go in on everyone. But what's your take on that? Or do you think, Stel, come on, man, you're being really harsh here. Relax.
No. I completely agree with you. And that's something that we've had to battle with at Change for Tottenham since we began. And, same, with ENIC out, standing in the street. It's always, it's been difficult to get like massive numbers always. And I think the reality is there's two separate fan groups. There's social media fans and there's fans that go to the match day. On social media, you read social media, every single person's tweeting out, Levy out, ENIC out. But that actually doesn't transpire to 50,000 people sat in the stadium, as you say. And we've thought about a lot trying to do in-stadium protests, but it's really difficult to get the numbers. Like, it's really, really hard. The fact is, most people that go to Tottenham sit in that stadium just don't care. They do not care in the same way that we care about it. Not to say that anyone's a better fan or what, but some people they go and watch the football, they go home, and that's it. They don't have this kind of obsession with wanting Tottenham to be better or ENIC and Levy. And that's a difficult reality to fight sometimes. And I think what you do kind of get sometimes is you kind of wish people would open their eyes. Like, we've been so undersold as a football club for 25 years. And is anything ever going to, again, we've got the Lewis family. They even refuse to call themselves ENIC anymore. It's just another sort of fresh chapter that's not going to be exactly the same. We're going to be sat here in 5 years' time saying exactly the same things that we're saying right now. Probably have 4 different managers in that time. Nothing's going to change until these owners go. And I think with protests at the moment, it's kind of like the only way that we can sort of make them meaningful is you have to send a message of some kind, like to media or something like that. Because if you break it down to the numbers, 2,000 people, that was the best we've ever seen, best we've ever got. But when you compare it to the 55 people sat in the stadium, you're right. So it has to be about sending a message in some way, which is why you see people like Just Stop Oil, two people go and smash in a painting or whatever. That sends a message. I know everyone hates them, but the message gets clear, doesn't it? So it's really difficult to get numbers, basically, I think.
Saba, what's your take on this? Because when we spoke today, you actually, for the first time, again, it's not digging anyone out, I'm just being honest, you said to me, Stel, when's the next protest? I'm there. I'm done. Enough's enough. So how do you see it all? Because it's good to get everyone's perspective on this, not just my extreme angle, black or white.
I don't know. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because part of me thinks, yeah, look, this is great. Let's protest, and that can force a change. The other half of me looks at it and says, well, hang on, this is an ownership that have publicly rejected 2 approaches, I think the terminology was expression of interest in the summer, right? And I think to myself, well, if they're publicly rejecting expressions of interest and they've had the opportunity to sell, what will the protest do? However, maybe, and this is something that Lubo says, that it's awful when you agree with Lubo because he gets a real big smile on his face. Look, like that. There you go. He gets that smile. But I don't know. Maybe we're at a stage where the new version of ENIC, I don't want to call them new owners, but the new version of ENIC have probably taken a look at this you'll back me up on this, Lubo, and have gone, fucking hell, this is wow. To get Spurs back to, they can say they want us to win leagues and Champions Leagues, but realistically, I think we all know we are 5-6 years away from being what Arsenal, Liverpool, and City are. And that's 5 or 6 years of having an actual plan, pumping in hundreds of millions every year. I don't know if they've got the appetite for that now. So is that the right time? Or is it the wrong time because they've publicly stated we do not want to sell? That's why I'm conflicted still. But the reason I said that to you today is because I've got to the stage where I'm so bored of directors of football, manager, players. Like we're going to be doing this for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, however long ENIC are here. Nothing's going to change. We might move up the table 2 or 3 spaces, go down the table 2 or 3 places. This manager will play a bit prettier than this manager. This goal difference is a bit better than this. But in reality, what's the macro change? What's the change that makes us go, oh, so-and-so will play pretty football versus no, there's a clear plan to actually go and challenge and be one of the big football clubs. Everyone said we had it under Poch and we didn't. This is why I might be different topic. We didn't. What we had was Poch built a good 11. At no point under the Poch era was there a plan. At no point did we actually rival the others from a point of view of we're building to come for you. So I don't know if that's answered your question, Stel. I just feel like I'm so confused as to what the owners want. They had the opportunity in the summer, right? They had that opportunity to get involved in negotiations, sell the club. They said they don't want to. They've wheeled out Vinay to give us we want to win leagues and Champions Leagues. This all comes back to one thing, Stel. What are Tottenham? I don't know what we are. Johnny was absolutely spot on with.
I believe it's this.
Well, what if you? Yeah, of course, yeah. Ferrari were, yeah, exactly. But Johnny was absolutely right when he talks about what if we get a Clear Lake Capital that come in, for example, and we all have this dream. We all have this dream, don't we, that a new owner's going to come in and they're going to get Tottenham. They get us. They get this thing we built decades ago, and we're going to play this champagne football. When realistically, are they, or are new owners going to come in, use the stadium for every penny that it can generate, use it for boxing, use it for... So I'm so torn still on if it can work. Hats off to what Billy and the lads are doing. I'd like to experience being there. Whether it does anything or not, I don't know. So sorry if that didn't answer your question in any way, shape or form. I'm so beaten as a Spurs fan. I feel lost still. That's why my anger's gone. My hate's gone. I'm so over the point scoring of you said this, he said this, Johnny said this. I'm lost. I don't know what we are. And it's been heading this way for a very long time.
The alternative is we don't change owners because we're worried what the new owners might look like. And we continue with this, which is just tearing the entire club apart. And I was about to bring in Luba, but...
Is that a house phone?
My God, I didn't know anyone still had a house phone.
They exist. A house phone.
Listen, he's still got files. He's still got files. Listen, can I just say, there's only one... Go on.
So I just want to answer, Stel, just to answer your question there, Stel, I'm not saying I don't want to see if the grass is greener. I'm not saying that. I was just literally putting out devil's advocate kind of, is it going to be better? Because I feel like when football clubs are at the stage where, like if a football club is worth 300, 400 million, that you might get someone local who gets the area and is a fan, and you go, oh yeah, this guy's coming to rescue Middlesbrough. This guy's coming to rescue Millwall. I just feel that we're at the stage where because we're going to be worth, 3.5, 4 billion pounds, are we getting people that come in that get Spurs? And what is Spurs? So I don't know. I'm all up in the air, but I would like to go to a protest, given that it's the right date and time and all that. I'd like to experience that. I would.
Can I just say that I think there's one person that's sat at home right now in the Bahamas or wherever he may be,
We're about to say Sean.
laughing his head off right now, and that's Daniel Levy. He's sitting there saying to the
Bring him back.
Lewis kids, you thought it was all cakewalk, eh? I've looked after your asses for 25 years. You guys have walked in here. You think you can do a better job? Don't come knocking on my door now. The shit's hit the fan on your doorstep, right? He's probably chuckling to himself right now. Be careful what you wish for, right? Okay. Now you lot sort it out. You're trying to get me out. They're probably trying to dilute Daniel to get him out, to get his shares on the cheap. But ultimately, I think the Lewis children, I don't know, I'm going to stop calling them children. As I said, they're 63 years of age, right? It's embarrassing. But what I would say is that I think there's a possibility they might have bit off more than they can chew. If they are serious and they've rebuffed all of these offers, have they rebuffed the offers because it's a cash cow and they're just going to sit on it and drain the money?
Johnny, it's the fans who hyped them up. It's the fans that said get their kids in. It's the fans who just jumped on this bandwagon.
I mean,
the Lewis kids are going to be this amazing solution. I never understood that. What have they done for them to be given this accolade of the messiahs have arrived? What have they ever done?
They have to look. They've not been there. Daniel, they just let Daniel get on and run the business and run the whole shebang, right? Like it was his own. And now they're in charge, right? Whereas Daniel had his finger in every single pie and controlled every single element, like Nero. I think now they're seeing the size of the task that's ahead of them. Levy was a megalomaniac. And he controlled everything that he purveyed. But I think this is a huge, huge job. And maybe, just maybe, when they see the gravity of the task that lies ahead of them, by the summer, they might decide, you know what? We thought it was going to be easier. We thought it wasn't going to be like this. And they might well decide time is up and sell up. But Johnny,
I think they thought they could buy 2 or 3 players, fix a club, and you go, right, let's challenge.
Correct.
Listen, have a look at Have a look at Arsenal.
Kroenke's been doing it.
6 years of
7 years, 6, 7 years.
Is it 1.2, 1.1 billion they've spent over 6-7 years, constantly buying at that level? They're not buying 19-year-olds. They're buying at that level constantly for 6-7 years. And they haven't even won the Premier League yet. So I agree with you. Are they looking at this and going, can we do this? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the payback of what they're going to make enough for them to go, right, we need to go big? Also, last thing, maybe they're looking at it and going, well, hang on, can we attract what we need to do what Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, City, it doesn't matter if they go through bad patches. They can attract top footballers because of their name. We can't. So I just don't know where we're at. Honestly, I'm so browbeaten.
We need new owners.
Can I one second, because I've had this comment sitting here for a minute. I just want to very quickly address this, and then I'll come straight to you. Stuart Beezer, I don't. Maybe you didn't hear what I said at the beginning of what I was saying. Okay, so you're saying. It's not that we don't care, Billy T, but we've got more important things in life to care about, like our family, our work and interests. I totally get that. The point I was making is that, but yet you've got time, not just you, thousands of fans, to constantly moan, complain, go on loads of multiple YouTube channels, podcasts. I'm fed up, get them out, this player this manager that, this recruitment. That time and energy exists. It's just you're allocating it in a way that has zero impact. That's the point I'm making. Fans do have the time if they want, because I see them moaning and complaining every week, every year for the last 6 years. So I kind of disagree with that to some degree. Lubo, jump in, and then I want to go back to Billy because he never gave us the exclusive. We're going to get this big exclusive.
Just to say still that you quite clearly said you were talking about how many people are at the grounds. We're not talking about people. I see Matt said, he's 70 quid to get on a train or bus, whatever.
Yes, people who go to the games.
I understand that. It's a lot of money to come up. Just, if you're not going to a game, it's also a lot of money to come up just for what, a half hour demonstration. Fully understand that. I think what Stel was talking about was people that are actually at the grounds, people that it's not going to be an issue for them to take half an hour out.
Lubo, the 30,000 that boo at the end of every game.
I know.
Yeah.
I think just jumping on what Savas just said, I don't think they are interested in spending anything up to £1 billion making this club competitive again. I think that's what it's going to take. You're talking about 6 windows. You need a big squad. You don't necessarily need to spend £1 billion on 7 or 8 players. That's not what I'm saying. But you can start with 6 very good players at 50 million. You've got to pick up squad players. There's just maybe 10 players, 11, 12 players at $500,000. Arteta has changed 23 players in the 6 years. There were 26 on the back of the Arsenal programme when we went down there in November. There were only 3 players there, Saka and 2 others, who were there when Arteta took over. So they have brought in 23 new players over 6 years. Now, what's that going to cost from here? If we had to bring in 23 players, call it 15, call it 18. It is eye-watering how much money they are.
And wages on top of the transfer fee as well.
And correct. And wages are going up and up and up. They can't start making data analysis and on players based on players that will take small wages. They're now having to pay proper wages.
Can I just read out a tweet that someone messaged me?
Just let me finish. And I don't think they're serious. They're looking at this kid Sousa from Santos. If you want a player for 16 million euros, I think it is.
12.9 million pounds it is, Lubo.
How much, sorry?
12.9 million pounds.
Right. So you're not talking in normal transfer terms, you're not talking about a lot of money. If you want that player, you go and you meet that release clause. So the negotiating, because someone might nip in, Spurs are on now, they're messing about with the payments, which was the way Levy used to do it. In terms of the not the payments, the fee, should I say. Pay it. If you want him enough, pay the money, bring him into the club. End of. So there doesn't seem to be any change for me for what Mark II are doing. They're still negotiating. They're still messing about. If you're negotiating 70, 80, 90 million pound players, listen, I fully understand you've got to go in and you negotiate.
It's not as easy, though, in Brazil. In fairness, Lubo, right? The Brazilian contracts are extremely complicated, right? I've got to step in here and say, what I do know is that there's third-party ownership. There's people that invest in these kids when they're young, and stuff has to be cleared up, and it's not always as clean and clear cut when it comes to Brazil, and in some cases Argentina, who have got new rules now
Johnny,
about selling players.
Look at Tevez and Mascherino. Look at how complicated and involved those transfers.
No, exactly. I just want to read out a tweet from.
Guys, we're going to come back to Billy, and we keep jumping into.
Right, can I just say about ENIC, then go to Billy, right? Because this is about ENIC, and this is about the ownership. Gary,
Billy, we will come to you. All right.
Yeah, he's coming straight after
15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Gary, I'm just going to read this tweet, right? Gary,
I've got a tweet to read out after Johnny as well. Right. So sorry, Billy.
All right, Gary. Fuck. Gary Spurs, he says, ENIC feed off the hope of the fan base and deflect the on-field failures using the chairman, managers, and bricks and mortar as a shield and excuse. The ownership is the problem.
Who said that?
There's a guy who was in the chat earlier earlier in the chat. Gary Spurs, 1961.
Can you say to him, if you don't already attend the protest, can you please join us and tell your fellow Spurs fans to help us out and get involved?
Well, he is involved, mate. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say
Perfect.
who he is. I'm not going to say who he is, but he's basically saying, ENIC, feed off the hope of the fan base and deflect the on-field failures using the chairman, managers, and bricks and mortar as a shield and excuse. The ownership is the problem. Over to you, Billy.
Okay, so I'm gonna just answer a couple of questions I had in the chat first. Someone said, "What do you think is the minimum number of people that you need to protest to make an impact?" I don't think it's about numbers necessarily. I think it's about sending the message. I think one of the biggest currencies at the moment for any kind of thing like this is the media, and having a few hundred fans outside the ground, getting picture attraction on, goes into Talk Sport, goes on Sky Sports News, and that can make a real big difference. And I think sometimes that might make people sit up and take notice. So I don't know if it's about the numbers. I think it's about sending the message. I would hope that, there will be thousands and hundreds of thousands upon us, that want to do well for a football club. If you, in real terms, what is possible, 100,000 people turn up, as I saw someone mention in the chat, 100,000 people turn up to the parade. So, big numbers are possible. There are big people that care about Tottenham. So I don't think it's about putting a number on it. I just think it's about sending a message, hopefully. But obviously, the more people we get, the better. And the continual growing of numbers is what helped us last year, ended up getting the traction on the media. And so what we're going to, and the other thing that I keep going back and forth for change of Tottenham, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. We're not stupid enough to think that we do everything. We made some mistakes last year, definitely, but it's really difficult with timing. So we're going to protest in the middle of the transfer window. And there are two options that you can have for this kind of thing. You can even go at the end of the transfer window, and at the end of the transfer window, a big protest saying, how shit was that transfer window? Thousands of us stand outside. But the problem is that then it's too late, isn't it? It's too late because the transfer window is already finished. There's nothing really can happen. So we decided to go in the middle of the transfer window. We're going to aim an exclusive reveal at the West Ham game, which is the 17th of January, I think. We're going to try and do both things outside the stadium and inside the stadium. Now, we've never tried to do something inside the stadium before, but we think it's important to send a different kind of message this time, just to try some new things, hopefully a powerful message. But we will be on the high road and we'll be inside the stadium at the West Ham game. Talk a couple of people about how do I get involved. If you just go on Change for Tottenham Twitter, just listen to the shows like this. People are always talking about it and stuff. Last Word on Spurs, Stale's show always mentioned it. Other shows, we're really grateful for all the support that we get. But certainly keep an eye on social media where we're going to announce the plans in the next couple of days. But I don't know, guys, what you think about the timing thing, because there are two trains of thought you can go for in the middle of the window, at the end of the window. Personally, I think the end of the window is too late. What do you guys think about that?
Mate, we're selling players. We've got an injury crisis and we're about to sign an unproven 19-year-old who apparently, according to Sava's stats, which I'll bring up, has got a fantastic injury record as well.
Hang on. Why is it? Why are they Sava's stats?
I should have. Do you know what? I landed that so badly. I landed that so bad. Sava's got stats on him that he shared. That's what I should have said. This Billy, my answer to your question: the sooner the better, because we're falling apart, man. We're in full-blown fucking meltdown.
I guess the question is, Billy, is we are in the middle of a transfer window, and unfortunately, every manager who's in a transfer window, we have to hear the same soundbite, don't we? It's difficult, right? And Frank's doing exactly. We heard this from Conte, we heard this from Jose, we heard this from Ange. Every manager it's difficult. We don't know. The question I think I would ask is this, and listen, I was about to give away what you were going to say. The question I will ask is this: do we believe that protesting during a transfer window? Do you believe that the board take that on board, no pun intended, and sit around and go, look, guys, right? Look, guys and girls, look how angry they are. We have got to make these transfers happen that we might have been happy to wait until the summer. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just asking your opinion on that. And I guess that's got to be it. If it doesn't fire them into action, then does it matter? I guess I'm just I don't know.
No, that's a really good question. I think, I've never been naive enough to think that the work that we do, the fans, by we, I mean the fans, not taking any credit for any of it, can have a big impact. Because at the end of the day, when you work with people at the very top level, they don't give a shit about fans. Let's be honest. Like, people don't give a shit.
Sure.
They don't care. I think it'd be, the protest last year, I don't think it was necessarily I don't think it was the reason why Daniel Levy left or anything like that. It's just, I think you have to, as a fan, you can make a choice to either stand up for it or not. And I think I'm not, for a second having to think that we get 2,000 fans there on the 17th of January and everyone's going to then, we're going to go out and buy, spend 200 million in the last 13 days or whatever. But I think as a fans, you've got to make a stand. You have to do it. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from last year is, I think the biggest impact that we had was just getting in the media. Talk Sports, Sky Sports was constantly talking about Daniel Levy and Enoch. And I think on that level, maybe that makes them think, actually, like this negative attention that we're constantly getting, maybe that's a factor. So I think I'm not stupid enough to think that, the protest is going to change these billionaires' mind, but you got to stand up for what you believe in, right?
Sure.
I also think, guys, that our bad form is pushing people towards this way of thinking as well. I think you're going to see many empty seats on Saturday at the match.
And I think that's the most powerful protest that you can do, Mike.
Yeah.
And we've never had it before because, last year, for plenty of reasons, they had a huge number of Korean fans that would take the empty seats. And that's gone now. And they're really feeling like, and not just that as well, there's thousands of people that just aren't season ticket holders, just can't be bothered. And I think that's the best possible protest you can do. Obviously, it's really difficult to arrange that in massive numbers. For example, if you had like the Man City fans, when they didn't go into the game protesting against their ownership, one of the decisions that they made, they got like 5,000. And what Stell was talking about at the beginning, that's 10% of our stadium. It's not a huge number, but that kind of number could make a big difference, I think.
Yeah,
I think Villa has sold 9,000 seats. Is it? I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Billy, I disagree a little bit with the thought that we can't force owners out, because I'll tell you why I say this. Because for me, if you have 25, 30,000 people protesting, like a massive protest, and in the stadium it's toxic, Nike at some point pick up the phone to Spurs and say, we don't want to be associated with this. What's going on? Corporate box holders who spend thousands on, having the luxury and the entertainment and the Michelin star meals to entertain, wine and dine their clients, they don't want to do business in that environment. They'll be on the phone to the corporate team saying, guys, this isn't why we've got a box at Tottenham. The NFL, who pride themselves on their brand, they're going to pick up the phone. Guys, this isn't the brand we want to be associated with. You begin to force the pressure from the people that put the big money into the club, and you begin to manage them out, because and this is what I was saying all along, the position becomes untenable because the key stakeholders, they're now putting the pressure on. But we can't do that unless we get massive numbers that really turns the dial.
I completely agree with you there.
It's a big ask, what I'm saying. I do appreciate it's a massive ask. But
at the moment for us, and not by us, I don't mean change for Tottenham. It's never been about change for Tottenham. It's always been about Tottenham fans. Until we can start getting that kind of numbers, then those kind of aims, I think, are more realistic. But at the moment, sort of best we can hope for is to make a couple of waves here and there, because we need big numbers to have that kind of impact, I think. And you're talking tens of thousands. And at the moment, love there to be 10,000 fans with us at West Ham. It's just unrealistic at this point, as you have to build these things. And you just hope that more and more fans are going to come to it.
See, people in the chat saying to me, no, still, because we'll just get new stakeholders. What? Just like we've got a new naming right still. Players don't want to touch us. Managers don't want to touch us. Eventually, people with big money aren't going to want to touch us. Look, maybe I'm a fantasist, but I do believe this is how it works, because in business they care about money, and when the money talks to them and they're not talking in the language they want to hear, that's when the dial begins to move. But guys, let's move it on to look. I'm not even going to bother with the Arsenal Cup gate and all that. It's been washed and done and whatever. I do want to talk about this though. Van der Ven really snapped at the fans after the game, but it wasn't just Van der Ven. I'm just using that because I've got an image of it.
I was there.
Porro then went. We'll come to you first on it, Johnny. Then Porro then had a pop. Romero had a pop. Guys, this isn't a case of where just there was an incident last year between Ange and a fan once or twice, or where Matthias Tell had to go over and just talk to the fans and calm them down. 3 different players, one by one, took it turn to go over and say whatever they said. My question is this, right? Clearly things aren't going right. and this is frustration. It's matters boiling over, a breakdown between players, manager, fans, players, everyone. Everyone's having a complete breakdown with each other. But do you feel we have got bigger trouble in the camp with the players than just simply the manager changing to come in and create a bit of a honeymoon period, a bit more of a positive vibe? Do you think the players directly have an issue with the club as a whole? And the reason I say this is because we saw that last night and we're trying to figure it out. Romero then came out with the usual fan apology, which was 60 but then he took a swipe at what we think is the board. Richarlison and Porro then jumped in, backing him up. Amen, brother. More battles ahead. Clapping emoji. And then Romero edited the comments.
Well, we suppose.
We don't know who or why, but we know the Vicario has now edited the comments. Johnny, this is more than just the players being fucked off with losing, and maybe they like Frank, maybe they don't. There seems to be a direct conflict between the board and the players, or some of the key players. This is really concerning because we can't afford to lose our best players, and we can't even attract good players right now.
Well, I think
where are you at with what happened after the game with the players, and then the post-match comments, not just from Romero, but players within the team backing Romero, and then Romero editing the comments? Where are you at with all this? Because I think this is bigger than what some of us fans think.
Well, listen, look, again, like all the losses, this isn't about Thomas Frank. This isn't about this season. This was about last season, the them and us. We had the Ange Postecoglou with the ear to the fans at the Chelsea game. We had him confronting fans and having to be pulled away on more than one occasion, screaming abuse at fans, right? So we've had it. He created a them and us. Infamy, they've all got it infamy. And I think he created that. And I think a lot of that has carried on again this season because the results haven't been great. Mickey van der Ven was in a bad mood and he carried that on for no apparent reason. I believe he kick-started it all. Pedro Porro then came across and he joined in. And like I said to you before, he came over and calmed everything down. And for a loan signing, for Paulinho being a loan signing to come over and be the one to placate it. And let's have a look at Cuti Romero. I like him as a player. He's been distinctly lacking as a captain in moments this season. That's for sure. With his mistakes and his behaviour, he walked off down the tunnel. He didn't even come over to the fans. He walked straight off down the tunnel. Right,
Johnny, his teammates are backing him though.
No, I'm just saying what he did. Right, I'm saying what he did. I thought that was piss poor. Right, regardless of what happened and how upset you are, you come over and you clap the fans. Thomas Frank came over to clap the fans, even though he was booed and abused. It's not the first time. I saw him do it at Wolves when we got beaten. The fans come over. Where was he? Straight down the tunnel. Right, I've seen it quite a lot of times. And I think there is a contempt for this fan base. Listen, you are mollycoddled. You are in a privileged position. You have a job that most guys and girls dream of. Playing professional football for a professional football club and earning vast sums of money, being shepherded around, getting everything for you, being waited on hand and foot, having all the joys of life. If you can't take the heat, get out of the fucking kitchen, right? I'm not interested in you. I can't take it. I'm not taking this anymore, right? You take the money, you'll take the praise, you'll take the adulation. It's time to take the crap because us fans aren't happy. And if you're in alignment with the fans and you understand why we're upset, come over and say, you know what, guys, I understand. I understand you're upset where the club is right now. So are we. We want better. That's the way you win the fans over. That's the way you get them on side.
Johnny,
No,
can I,
confrontation. How many times they look for confrontation this season?
Johnny, sorry to interrupt you. I need to ask this because it feels like you're going in on the players here. I just want to stand up for the players. So
I'm just saying on this incident. There's better ways to handle it.
I get it. But I just want to play devil's advocate, right? If the players and Romero's trying to speak up for them have come out and said, "This lot upstairs are lying to us. This lot are the problem, and you, the fans, are taking it out on us," and they're pushing back on the fans because they might feel like you're having a go at us and you want us to do better. But what do you expect us to do when them upstairs don't give a shit about what we're trying to do here?
Don't be saying that now.
Can you? Is that a possible angle? Is that a possible situation?
Yeah, no, they could have. What I'm saying to you is,
because how else they explain that to you to any fan? Me, you, Sava, Billy, Luba. How do they put that across to you?
Explain it. There's better ways. There's better ways to explain it.
Yeah, how would Romero do that without?
Well, look, last season, I don't want to keep going on about him last season, but what I'm saying is he created a them and an us, right? Not a them upstairs and an us here, the fans and us. He created that sort of environment and he sort of carried on this season.
Well, didn't Romero last year say, if you get rid of Vange and I'm off? Didn't he try and create that situation?
No, he didn't say that. That's what the press reported, but it was a load of crap. It was a load of crap. My point here is, had he come over to the fans last night, Romero and Mickey van der Ven, and say, you know what, guys, we're fed up with this shit as well. If he'd have come out and said that to the fans last night,
what did they say then? Johnny, what did they say? What did they say to the fans?
We came out looking for a row.
Why? Can I ask you a question? Because Van der Ven's really irate.
Over to the fans. We supported that team last night unbelievably. The support was fantastic. The fans did not deserve Porro and Mickey van der Ven to come racing over.
Johnny, why did Mickey van der Ven get so angry? Did one fan say something that was out of order and he snapped?
I said to you at the beginning of the show, he started coming over from the halfway line, mate. He couldn't have seen one person that far away. He came up. He was still rolled up from the penalty.
So why did Mickey van der Ven go to the fans and do that? Because it doesn't make sense in my head. In my head, something must have triggered him that maybe he thought it came from the away end, maybe it didn't. Where he felt, how dare you say that?
Is that an excuse?
I'm asking Johnny, because I wasn't there. Johnny, I wasn't there. I'm asking.
Excuse, mate. It's no excuse, right? Take your pissed off nature and your upset and take it out in the dressing room. Do not come up to the fans who have travelled. I left my house at 2:15 in the afternoon. I got home at 1 o'clock, and I want to listen to that shit. Fuck off! No, I don't want to listen to that.
Does anyone have a different take on this, guys?
Take it out on the board.
I've got to say, still.
Yeah, but hold on. This is my point. Romero he's put a public statement out going after the board. He has.
I just want to say, as talking as an away fan, I've just looked.
So I'm just trying to be devil's advocate rather than just agree on the same thing. I'm not, I haven't got a side on this because I wasn't there. I don't know what the fuck happened.
No,
I'm watching it on TV thinking it's another shit show. Here we go again. Another day at Tottenham.
The club have a fantastic away following, and for Bournemouth, it's still Wednesday night. It's a work night. It might only be 2 hours down the M3. 438 or 439 points you needed to get a ticket for Bournemouth. For Burnley, a Saturday, easy, it's not easy, it's a long drive, or you get a coach. The club are subsidising with cheap coach fares. 305 loyalty points gets you a ticket at Burnley. And the biggest surprise, you've got probably a Champions League group stage decider. And anybody with over 155 will get a ticket for Frankfurt. 155. Now it was, and I think there's
200 and something last time. When I went to Frankfurt last year, it was 280, 290.
And you know, for Udine, it was 165, 175, I think, but there was 6,000 tickets. I think Frankfurt are only giving Spurs 2,000. I think it is, Johnny. And it's 155. So that shows you the drop off from the hardcore fans in terms of travelling away.
Lubo, why are 3 individual players going over to the away fans? Look, Johnny could be bang on the money saying, "What the fuck is Romero playing at?" But what about Van der Ven? What about Porro? This isn't one player. 3 separate players on separate occasions went over to the fans. Something must have happened, surely. In your opinion.
I'm speculating, but I'm just working on logic. This doesn't look like a very happy team. It doesn't look like a team. I'm not saying he's lost the dressing room, but it doesn't look like a team that truly believe in his tactics. And I think there is a lot of frustration at the club. I think there's frustration with results. And I think that, you know, the fans start singing, you know, backwards and sideways. You know, last week at Brentford, it was boring Tottenham. And this isn't the home fans booing at half-time and full-time. These are the away fans actually having a pop at the team. And the away fans never have a go at the team. We hear, you know, the away fans sing throughout virtually every single game. They are terrific, you know, and it's hours and hours getting to a lot of these places. I mean, Everton's the back of God knows where, their new ground. It's another half an hour, 35 minutes on from Goodison. Newcastle, you know, we had virtually a full group at Newcastle on a Tuesday night. I mean, the fans are superb, and the football that we've been serving up doesn't exactly entice people to travel 285 miles up to Newcastle on a Tuesday night and then back again. Pal of mine got home by coach at 5:45, I think it was, from Newcastle in the morning. Got up and went to work at 9 o'clock. These are rock hard, stonewall, proper fans, like hardcore fans. Like, proper's the wrong word because everyone's a proper fan, but real hardcore fans. And the away support is dropping off. It's so much easier now for people with lower loyalty points to get tickets for away games because people have had enough. They're just fed up with it. And I just think it's an unhappy camp. I don't think it's a happy dressing room. I think you can see it. I think you saw Van der Ven and Spence walk past Frank after the Chelsea game. You've seen Porro have rows with fans. You've seen Vicario. And now you've got Romero coming out now against the Bulls, saying that, you know, we're having to go at the wrong people. It's a mess. The whole thing, literally from top to bottom, is a complete mess. I can't remember a time where it's ever been this bad. I honestly don't. You know, even in 77 when we got relegated, we had Hoddle playing. You had Stevie Perryman playing. You had a decent manager in Birkinshaw that had just joined. You know, you came back, you went into the second division. You knew you were going to get promoted, and we came back up. You had Ardiles and Villa. I can't remember a time. And the owners wanted success. You know, for them, it wasn't about money in those days. You know, I think it was the Whale family, and they'd had the success with the double team, and Bill Nick's reign, and you had a couple of League Cups and the UEFA Cup early 70s, and it was about success for the club. This lot don't give a shit, never given a shit. It's just about business with them, and it transmits all the way down. And what you've got now is such a drop off from Poch's team that left the lane and went to Wembley eight and a half years ago. And this is no surprise. People are just pissed off. The fans are pissed off. The fans don't give any manager any time because they're fed up and they're starved of success. They're watching Arsenal, they're watching Chelsea, they're watching, you know, Chelsea and City, when Spurs are a big club up to 2000, they were nowhere. Let me
bring in Luba. Let me bring in Billy. Right, because otherwise, I know you're going to give us. You're going to go in hard on Enoch, and we could be here for 15 minutes. You are staunch Enoch out. So am I, to be fair. But I just want to get Billy and Savra, our guests, a chance to speak as well. Billy,
Arsenal, by the way, final score.
0-0. Apparently, Bradley went down injured and stretched off the pitch. He got a really bad injury, and Martinelli's kicked him off the
Pushed him off the pitch. I watched it. Pushed him off the pitch. And there's one other incident I must tell you how it's not a penalty. Wirtz has gone in the box and Trossard has stepped across him. Literally stepped across him. Any day of the week, that's a penalty. I've got no idea how VAR have not ruled that a penalty. It's just incredible. Arsenal get away with murder, honestly. Anyway, let's hear what our guests have got to say.
Yeah, Billy, what's your take? And then Sam, I'm going to come straight to you. What's your take on the altercations with the players and the fans? Because my issue with this, Billy, isn't the fact that Van der Ven was in the wrong or an away fan was in the wrong. It's that 3 of our players went over at separate times. So something must be happening here that we don't know about. Do you know anyone that went to the game that has told you a bit more that we haven't been able to talk about tonight? What's your take on this one?
I think it's a symptom of weak leadership on several different levels. So at the very top level of the club, you've got
what Lubo said, basically.
The owners. You've got no identity for the football club at the moment. Fans don't really feel like they belong to anything. You go back to the Pochettino era, as Lubo was saying, every single fan was so bought into the club, weren't they? Every single game. You'd never dream of seeing scenes like this because we had an identity, we had a way of playing, we were fantastic. Now there's no identity as we keep coming back to this fact there's no identity at Tottenham at the top level. Then underneath that, you've got Thomas Frank, doesn't really have a handle on the situation at all. In this specific, talking about the fans with the players, because he's coming out to slag off the fans every week in the press conferences as well. And then underneath that, you've got Romero. Now I would posit this. I think if Son was captain, this would not be happening. Didn't happen last season. Son was an expert at creating connectivity between the fan base because he's a legend of the club, and he was a much better sort of guide in the connectivity. I don't think Romero is not that type of captain. He's a very different kind of captain. He's a combative captain.
Sorry, Billy, didn't Mateus still have to go over to the fans and calm the situation down? So it did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, but the fans were having a go. The players would not dream of going back at the fans like they're doing now, though, is what I'm saying. Yeah, they wouldn't be.
Right, okay, all right.
Yeah. Under Son, that just wouldn't have happened. Like, you wouldn't get Van der Ven running into the fans if Son was captain. I truly believe that because Son, at every stage, was he was the one that took the huddle in front of the away fans, things like that. So Son was really good at that thing. There's just different types of captains. I don't think Romero has done anything to sort of improve fan connectivity. He's more of like a combative captain, as we see that he takes on every player, the leaders, the owners, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's several levels of weak leadership, and it's just all the massive loss of connectivity with the fans. The main thing it comes down to is just fans have no buy-in at the moment. There's no buy-in to Thomas Frank's football. There's no buy-in to the director of the club. There's no identity. We don't know where we're going. And you're actually seeing fans aren't even bothering to turn up anymore.
Do you think the relationship between the players and the fans is broken? Or do you think it's just, look, it was a last-minute loss, emotions are high, brush it under the carpet? Or do you think, no, there's more of this to come?
I think there's more of this to come. I think it's at an all-time low from what I can remember because, we've had the Vicario incident. We've had several incidents like this going on. Thomas Frank, again, is not... We had the super thing where they all walk off together so they stop getting booed. Thomas Frank exacerbates it in press conferences, I think, by talking about it all the time. I think we just need to stop going on about the fans all the time in every single press conference. It's getting ridiculous at this stage. So I think it's at an all-time low from what I can remember.
Sava, we brought in Vinay and... he's meant to be the PR communicating expert. He's meant to bring us together. He's going to listen to the fan. He's going to reach out to fan groups and whatnot and get a gauge of it. And this looks the complete opposite of that. What's your take on this? And do you think there's an issue between the players and the fans at the moment?
I do, but I think I'm going to disagree with Billy on this. I mean, he said this didn't happen last year when Son was captain. It absolutely happened in a number of games last year when Son was captain. I think this is a number of years of these players it's the same players over and over again, right? Have you noticed whatever happens at Tottenham, Porro's involved, Vicario's involved, Romero's involved. It's the same names. It's the same people. They're seeing, for me, I feel two ways about it. For me, I think Romero is the most overrated player that I've seen at Tottenham in many a decade. I think this guy gets glazed over time and time and time again. It's brilliant that he comes out and calls out the board and people clap it and praise it. How about you shut up, do your job, lead the team, actually look like a captain on the pitch, maybe clap the away fans, maybe stop your players going over to the away fans and lead by example. So for me, I'm not sold on this whole Romero's a hero for calling it out. I feel like you don't call this out in public. I don't know what it does. I've always been like this with these scenarios. Calling this out in public does nothing. It does nothing. It puts more spotlight on Tottenham Hotspur. And I think when he's turning around and going, oh, that, you know, these people are never anywhere to be seen when it's going bad. Well, where is he to be seen when it's going bad? Because I see a real rudderless captain there who, for me, is having bad performance after bad performance after bad performance, poor mistakes, not doing his job properly. I think he's lazy, and I think he's very lucky to be in the team at the moment. In terms of are the fans, look, there's going to be tension because every year that Spurs go down this rabbit hole, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I don't think this is Thomas Frank. I don't think this is Ange. I think this is years and years of build-up. Yeah, Romero, Porro, Romero and Porro, just use those two, for example, and Bentancur. These guys have now played under Conte. These guys have played under Mason, Stellini. They've played under Ange. They've played under Frank. They're not seeing anything come into the club that tells them we're going in the right direction. And I was always taught this when growing up about football. Can you imagine if you are a top player and you come back to pre-season training and you look around and you go, right, what have we done? What have we done to show me we're serious? And it's the Kane syndrome. Kane must have gone into training every summer and gone, oh, we haven't bought anything. Like there's no ambition. I've got the feeling that's going to be exactly the same with these footballers. And because of that, their performance levels drop. Because of that, they're unhappy. That then goes into the fans. The fans are unhappy. We can pretend it's a manager or a player. This is systemic of what Tottenham Hotspur have become. And this is why, sorry for venting, but this is why for so long now, when people just want to blame one thing, the whole club's a mess. The whole club is a mess. And I accept that someone like Vinay, he is a CEO. CEOs don't come out and talk every single week. I get that. But nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at this club, Stel. From the day, I mean, we used to, we didn't know each other, but when we were on, when it was Twitter back in the day, nothing's changed since those days. Nothing's changed since we moved stadium. Nothing's changed since Poch left. Nothing's changed since I started my YouTube channel. I'm still sitting here 5 years after starting YouTube going, the board are a mess, the players are a mess, the manager's not working, the directors of football don't work. But every year we need a villain. And maybe if I was too harsh on Ange for maybe making him my villain, then fine, I'll take that. But now we're doing it to Frank. Frank's the villain. And we don't like that because he plays sideways and negative football, even though he's got really poor players, yada, yada, yada. How does this change is the real question still. Like, how does this change? Every week someone comes out and apologizes. Every week we're told, don't worry, there's a transfer window around the corner. We're definitely going to be active. Transfer window rolls around and we're told, no, it's really difficult. And they've shown that they've got zero plan. Fans still stick up for it. Oh, it's only the 8th. Sorry, we're in a mess. On the 1st of January, we should have had bids in for the players we've been targeting for 4 months, but we didn't. Now it's the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th, the 8th. So I genuinely don't know how this gets changed. Romero will be seen as a hero for calling it out. I don't think he should have called it out in public. I think it's really awful that our captain, that's the 2nd time now. I think Johnny said it was the Wolves game last year. Yeah, where he just walked down the tunnel. He's now been made our captain, walking down the tunnel again. And you know the problem? Christian Romero knows whatever happens, he's going to play the next week. It doesn't matter what stinker he puts in, he's going to play. Doesn't matter how well Danso plays when he steps in. Danso stepped in last couple of games. We got clean sheets. Romero's straight back in because Romero's the captain. And we look worse defensively when he's in the team. But it's Romero and he can pass a ball. So I don't know where we go. Still, my answer to most things tonight, I'm so sorry, has been I don't know, because if we had the answer and if my opinion meant anything, then we wouldn't be in this mess. But we are in this mess. And for me, I feel like we're at a stage. Last thing I'll say, sorry, I just hadn't talked for about half an hour and I needed to get it out. For me, I think that players like Romero have been here so long now that they're just part of the systemic problem. I think they've been involved with so much negativity within this club that I think we need a clean sweep of everything. The players that have been here for years, the manager, the directors, I think the whole thing needs to go and bring in people that have got fresh eyes. Fans won't want that. We're very sentimental. I keep hearing how good a player like Romero is. 4.5 years. I'm still looking at him going, I'm not sold, mate. I'm not sold. This is a guy that turns up for Argentina every time he puts on a Spurs shirt. I don't know what I'm going to get. So it is what it is.
Did they not have these conversations, though, Savage? Do you remember when we needed a clear out, when we got rid of the likes of Eric Dyer and Højbjerg, all of the deadwood that needs to be cleared out the club? Wasn't that just like
Johnny,
3.5, 4 years ago?
Johnny, the problem is, right, we don't have any footballing people at the top of this club. So
agreed.
When that happens, not one person can sit in that board meeting and say, why the fuck is Ben Davies still at this football club? Who the hell signed Allison? No one in that boardroom that can have that conversation with any footballing background to support their argument to the board. We've got accountants, bookkeepers, marketing students, kids of the family, investment bankers, and a reject from Aston Villa heading the recruitment. That's why, Johnny. So these conversations are null and void because there's no one with any footballing credentials to have any level-headed, ambitious footballing conversation.
Which
Is
comes
that a
back
fair enough comment to make?
still that which comes back to what I said, that we need old Spurs players, legends who are educated football-wise, understand the game and understand the club, that needs to be on the board, and it needs to be a new board. It needs to be owners. Funny enough, you talked about private equity before. It needs to be owners, ideally, maybe Saudis that have got plenty of money, where it's more of a hobby, possibly, than a business.
No one takes
Lubo,
£1 million as a hobby, Lubo. It's a romanticised idea.
Johnny,
It doesn't
right,
exist.
Johnny.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, and listen, if someone's going to buy the club for 3 or 4 billion, then they're going to want, obviously, to turn a profit on it because it's big money. But what I mean is that it is, for them, it's about winning. For them, it's about the kudos of having a top club, of being at the top table, of going into Champions League finals. I'll never forget when Chelsea first won the Champions League. They beat Bayern Munich, didn't they, in 2012, was it? And the cameras panned on Abramovich about 30 seconds after the final whistle, and the pure joy on his face. He was just so proud. This was his team, this was his baby, and they were champions of Europe. And I just remember thinking, wouldn't it be fantastic to have a chairman that feels about the club? Now, this is a guy from Moscow or St. Petersburg, wherever he's from. This is not someone that's from the King's Road, that's grown up as a Chelsea fan. This is someone that took on the business, took on the club, and embraced it, and embraced everything about it, and set about dominating the Premier League, changing the financial landscape. He was determined. He wanted success, and he got there. He finally got there. And it took him, 9 years? Wouldn't it be nice to have owners like that felt the same way about our club?
Oh, man, I feel like we just have the same conversation every season when these owners feel at this club.
That's the only solution. That's the only way out of it. It's the only solution.
Billy, I started
25 years, a quarter of a century. It's not going to people don't change after 25 years.
Billy, I started a YouTube channel with Brian Daigle to only talk about this. And here I am 6 years later, and I'm talking about the same thing. And it's like,
This time you're doing it from Cyprus.
Yeah.
But now they're the Lewis family, not Enoch anymore. So there you go. It's different.
yeah, it's different. It's different.
You know
Listen,
what?
It's
I'm
the
gonna
same.
do-
It's a
Go on,
wolf
Johnny,
in
go on.
sheep's clothing. That's all it is.
They took us over in the year 2000, and they've taken us back to the year 2000 now, to where we were as a club then.
Do you know what's really fucking annoying, man? I'm gonna swear now. I'm fucking getting angry. I'm actually sick of talking about Enoch. I used to love it because it used to just rattle the fan base into taking action and triggering. Right, enough of this guy. Shut him up. No, I'm not going anywhere. We're going to stand up and fight. But you know what? I'm at a point now where we don't talk about football anymore. Like, we're the only YouTubers in football that don't talk about football because it's so dead at this club. We talk about the board and the recruitment team and the stadium and the money. We're supposed to be talking about the football and the tactics and the play and the players and the good goals and the way we are looking good. And like, when's the last time you just had a really good football conversation about Spurs where it's just purely about the thing that you go and watch? When's the last time we did that as a fan base?
I said exactly the same to
Man City? Man City away, maybe?
Yeah, I said exactly the same to Connor, who's in the chat there. I can see. We're the only club where it's a story who are fucking, contract managers in the press. Like, I don't want to know who these people are. I don't care about who these people are. But it's a story every single time with Tottenham. Like who Donna, Charrington is, and all these people. I don't care who you don't hear this at any other club. I don't know who the Newcastle equivalent of these people are, or the Arsenal equivalent of these people are, other than the chairman of Tottenham. Every single level is detailed and all the time. And it's just, yeah, you're right. It's such a boring conversation, isn't it? Over and over again. We've been here for 25 years, and until they're gone, it's going to continue.
Yeah. The other thing, Billy, is that
Exactly.
other clubs talk about football. What do? We've got NFL, we've got concerts, we've got this, we've got that. Now, fine, great, but they've taken away from the main focus, which is the football club. And that's
You've got the away fans under attack from the players. You've got the home fans singing Ben Davis again, ole ole. Mate, the whole thing is just an absolute circus.
The manager drinking out of an Arsenal cup.
Do you know what? I haven't shown it. I've got to show it. In fact, do you know what? I haven't even got the image. Do you know what? That's gifted the Arsenal fans everything they wanted. And this kind of shit now is circulating the internet. There's so many of these memes, GIFs, call them whatever you want. Look, I'm going to do a couple of super chats, guys. And then if anyone's got to bounce, feel free. But I'm just going to do the last segment of the show. I just want to talk briefly about transfers. But if you need to go, just let me know and you can say your goodbyes. Quickly do the super chats. The 2 Mark show, thank you, guys. Hi, chaps. Sell the club. Complete restart required. I think everyone agrees with you there, buddy. Christopher Scorpion Nyland. Just look at Wrexham and their owners.
Yeah.
They show they care for the club history, and the fans. We need owners like that. The Iron Sheikh says, lose the next 2 home games, beg your pardon, and the shit will truly hit the fan. Yep, fully agree, mate. Levy gone, all of Enoch next. Thank you for your super chat. So I wake up here in Australia to Kudus being out for months and links to Strand Larsen and Shard. Lord, give me strength. Get rid of this Danish donor ASAP. He's a bigger fraud than Ange. The fans are definitely divided on the manager. Danny Kiriakou, Johnny, what did you say to Van de Ven? You pissed him off. Johnny, what did you say? Thank you, Danny. You're on mute, Johnny. We can just see your mouth moving.
I would have told him, get back down the tunnel, mate, and go and take it out up there, not at the people that come here to support you. Yeah, that's what I would have told him.
There you go, Danny. Danny with another super chat. Thank you, Danny. Why is it that Man City and all the other big clubs never say January is always hard to get players? It's complete and utter rubbish. You pay, you get. What I would say, Danny, is players want to play for Man City. I will say that. So, like, I said it a month ago. We're not getting Semenyo. When we were having conversations, we're linked, we're in talk. I said we're not getting Semenyo. I've seen this happen 100 times. So, but yeah, you're right. If you do pay, you should get some decent players in January. Big Bodyguard, thank you for becoming a channel member. Choo choo, appreciate it. And finally, Tottenham Trev, big up to you. Didn't renew my season ticket after Poch was blamed by Enoch and Levy because he wanted backing in 2019. I voted with my feet. Our fans ain't got the bottle. They moan, then keep paying into the lie. Do you know what, Tottenham Trev? You're absolutely right, and I'm guilty of it. But for me, I just know that when you gave up your season ticket, someone else took it, and that person is going to be more supportive of leaving ENIC than you. So we're stuck because too many fans will tolerate it, and it's kind of what I was trying to say earlier on. Right, Kudus injured, Bergvall out. Kulu's injury's been extended to a bit longer. Solanke, we don't know what the hell's going on with him. Maddison's out for the season. Injuries all over the shop. We've sold Brennan Johnson. We've moved on the Asian lad that we signed. He's gone back out on loan. So we've got injuries. We've got more injuries. We're selling players. We are in urgent crisis of signing players. Even I, who have said, I don't believe Frank's the solution. However, you've got to back him because we need to get into Europe next season. Even I would back him in this window. The only thing we're doing off the back of these injuries, more injuries, and players being sold is we're on the brink of signing a generational wonder kid, potential superstar again. He'll be the 31st player of this caliber that we're going to sign in the last 4 years. Sousa is on the brink of signing for Tottenham Hotspur, and Sava kindly shared these stats where he's missed a lot of games through injuries. So he's the perfect fit. He's prone to injuries, and he's under the age of 20. He's a perfect fit. Guys, what the fuck are we doing, man?
I mean, he was a regular Brazilian. He was a regular Brazilian under 17. But I mean, look, we know that the chances of coming from Brazilian football, playing for Santos, and then just coming here is totally unrealistic. You know, what Spurs fans are looking for is, yes, we need a backup left back, or no, we don't want backup. We don't do backup. If you want to be challenging, you need 3 players all fighting for positions. Look at Arsenal today. I don't like to talk about it, but, you know, they take off 3-4 top quality players and they bring on Eze, Noni Madueke. They bring on Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli. I mean, that's who they're bringing on as subs, right? And we're talking about signing a 19-year-old left back as a bit of cover for that's not what we're about. That's not what we need. What Spurs fans want to hear is that we're signing a Hincapié, or we're signing a quality player that's going to come straight into the squad right now, not even in the squad. Guaranteed. Look, we know Eze, whatever game time he's getting at Arsenal, if he comes to Spurs, he's playing every week, right? It's not even in doubt. It's a fact. Unless we're signing these players that are they're going to come in and be those players, then I'm not sure. You know, listen, I personally believe we're going to sign Conor Gallagher, whether or not he wants to come or not. He's still.
Johnny, I'm happy to bet with you right now that doesn't happen. I'm happy to make that bet.
Listen, I'm not saying
the money can go to charity. It's not point scoring. It can be a charity bet.
Look, I just think that is the type of the ilk of player who would start for us, but aren't going to be. Wow, can you believe who we've signed?
Why would he come to us, Johnny? Like, what's his?
Why would anyone come to us? Why would anyone come to us right now?
Because it's not just coming to Spurs. It's signing a 3, 4, 5 year. It's like committing yourself to this crime.
Paying the money. Who's going to pay the money? Are we going to?
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. Yeah.
Are we going to pay the money? Yes or no?
Johnny, aren't you alarmed though? Like, aren't you all alarmed? We have got an injury nightmare building. We're selling players. The right winger is out for 3 months, and the backup to the right winger we sold to Crystal Palace. So where we thought we need a left winger, we now need a right one as well. The attackers aren't scoring.
Well, why do you think Mark Gahey?
We feel there's concerns in midfield. The defenders, they want out of the club. Like we need to sign players. Whoever the manager is.
Mark Gahey, why do you think Crystal Palace pulled the Mark Gahey deal? Because the 2 centre-backs they were going to sign, right, they couldn't do. So I'm sorry, he ain't going, right? And that's what you do. That's how you do it. Listen, Liverpool made
Bergvall's injured as well. Forgot to mention that. Yeah. Bergvall's out as well.
Yeah. Liverpool made a terrible mistake getting rid of Quansah before having Mark Gahey or the other player that they wanted. They brought in Leone. He got injured very quickly. So they're screwed at the back, right? They have issues, right? But most clubs, Brighton don't sell anybody unless they have the succession plan in place. And we shouldn't have, as much as I don't have a problem Brendan Johnson going, you don't sell Brendan Johnson until your replacement is in situ or the deal is tied up before it's announced. Then you do the deal. Not this.
It's still a shambles, isn't it, Johnny?
It's a shambles. And look at Benton Core. He's got a muscle injury. Is that right or not?
No, hamstring.
Hamstring. Severe one as well. In January, we've had 2 Premier League games. We've dropped points in both of them. We're about to go into an FA Cup game with a weaker squad than we started with in January. It's unforgivable. If we go out the FA Cup, unforgivable. It's unforgivable.
Billy, this Vinay Lange, Paratici, chat, this new ENIC 2.0 combination, they've had many months to assess the squad, look at the injuries, look at where we're weak, to speak to Frank, get his feedback, what he thinks we need. How can they not have anything of a significant quality signing, or at least experience? Fuck quality, just some experience. How is this happening, Billy?
It's incompetence. It's just general incompetence that is, seeds through our club at every single level. It seems like it's just, you will look at a really competently run football club like Man City. I know you can't compare to Man City in terms of finances, but they do everything so competently. They've immediately on day one, they've signed Semenyo pretty much. And that deal was pretty much agreed on January the 1st. Gvardiol gets in. It looks like they're going immediately to go and sign Mark Gahey. We're just so far levels beyond that kind of competence, just an ambition as well. I think ambition is another thing. We don't really have the ambition to really want to affect it because that costs too much money.
That's the problem. Billy, we do have the money.
Yeah,
we could
spend it.
Hang on, we got to build Whitewebs, we got to build the hotel, and we've got to build the extension to the training complex, right?
John, that's the problem. That's the problem. City spend their money on the football, and we spend our money on real estate. It's
at this point, you have to wonder: is he just doing an inside job on us, Vinay, in Arsenal? Is he doing an inside job? Because
I think he is. Sava, you are super excited about this 19-year-old, aren't you? I'm waiting for you to do a here we go video.
I don't want any of the 19-year-olds that are already at the club, let alone any more 19-year-olds. I'm so bored of buying. I'm so bored of buying 19-year-olds, and because what will happen, Stel? You and I both know this. He'll put in a cross in a game, and everyone will go, "Oh, see, he's class." And then when he has a bad game, we'll hear, "Yeah, but he's young." And come on, look, I'm beaten. I'm genuinely beaten down by all this. How on earth, if Tottenham had anything about them, if we had any desire to be a club that are moving up the table, you go and buy a Nathaniel Brown. You go and buy an Anthony Robinson. You go and buy a left back that's better than Udogie, and you make Udogie force his way into the team. We've got our first choice left back, who isn't even a left back, is injured more than he's not. Hasn't really impressed me, if I'm honest, for the 2.5 years that he's been here. I don't look at him and go, "Oh, you're good at anything particularly." And then what we're going to do, instead of buying someone that you go, "Cool, that's made Udogie think," you go and buy a 19-year-old kid. All the while that's happening still. When people go to me, "Why aren't you more annoyed? Why don't you want the manager sacked?" What does any of it matter? Like, if you're just buying 19-year-old kids in transfer windows, what does any of it matter?
Well, can I talk about a 20-year-old kid who Spurs are looking to bring back from Notts County, Tyrese Hall, looking to bring back from a loan to potentially come into the squad? Are we having a laugh? Is this a sign that we're not actually going to sign a midfielder?
Look, is this a sign that they're not prepared to back Frank as well?
This goes back to what Billy just said then. It's utter incompetence. Right? It is utter incompetence.
Yeah,
now, we as football fans, we all sit and say things like, "We need a left winger, we need a midfielder." I'm looking at this whole squad going, right now, we need everything. Like, we need everything. This is a very weak 11. We need everything all over the park. Now, adding the injuries to that, We need even more. And in 8 days, we have sold play. I've got no problem with Johnson going. I've got no problem with these kids going out on loan. I've got no problem with any of that. But again, where were the bids ready? What have Lang, Paratici, what have they all been doing for 4 months behind the scenes? So, for example, if it was just what Johnny said, if it is Conor Gallagher, make your move. If it's Conor Gallagher that you wanted and you've spoken to his agent, because that's how it would work, right? They'll have spoken to his agent before the transfer window. Make your move. Go for it. But we're sitting here again, and this is yet another transfer window. Yet another transfer window where we're all going, nothing's going to happen. What they'll do is they'll bring in one player who's good, and then everyone will go, oh, what a window. This club we need triple heart bypass surgery. This club needs players galore. I don't want to hear that it's a tough window to do business in. This is their job. This is their job. From when the transfer window shut on the 1st of September to the 1st of January, that is their 4-month window of prep. That is, if you're a project manager, that is where you are prepping everything. And we've gone in again, and we're talking about a 19-year-old kid. I'm already seeing YouTubers still make videos about this generational kid that's going to take the Premier League by storm. Sorry, how many of these 24 games for Santos have they watched? Right? This is embarrassing again. We didn't learn from the window where we did this with Bergvall and Gray. We did it a couple of years before with Sarr. We've done it with Odegaard and Tell. We did it with Valise. We've done it with Yang. When are we going to stop doing this? And then in the same breath, we're all crying out for being a better football club. This is what we've become. This is what we've become. Udogie is not a left back. He's not, if he is, he's not a top left back. Go and buy Anthony Robinson, just by way of example. Go and show some gusto still. Go and show, do you know what? Top Premier League defender, boom. Get him in from Fulham. We can attract him from Fulham. Go and show us that you want to build. No.
Do you think we're going to get unremarkable? Do you think we're going to get an unremarkable side? When I said Conor Gallagher, I just said Conor Gallagher because although he would 100% walk into our team, I'm just saying we're not going to get everyone thinking we're going to get some ground shattering signing. I think you're all delusional. I think it's going to be a decent signing. That's it. Decent.
Johnny, this is what makes me laugh. And obviously, as we're all on YouTube every day, see fans come into comment sections with these just unrealistic expectations of the level of player that will join Tottenham. So how many of these people were saying, God, yes, Semenyo. If you want Semenyo, just put the money down. And I'm sitting there going, well, we've got no chance against Liverpool, Arsenal and City. Just put the money down. No. Semenyo's not picking Tottenham, right? I don't know how we're not getting it. We need sensible, solid signings. Gallagher would be that. Anthony Robinson would be that. Lookman would be that. But we've got this notion in our head that we are a top football club. And I'm sorry, I know Lubo disagrees with me. We are not a top football club. We have not been a top football club since the 60s. This is not what we are. This is not how we're run. And we need to build up slowly. That's going to take a number of years. And I don't think the fans are ready for that. Sorry, I just don't. We're a mess. We're an absolute mess.
I think for fans to get on board with anything, I only speak for myself. I need to see something either from the manager, from the transfer window, communication from the club, just something that says, you know what, there's a plan. There's a genuine plan at this club. To me, I don't think there's a plan. I don't think there's any plan.
Agreed. This is what I said yesterday, right? All the people that are saying about me wanting Frank. I did want Frank still. But I also wanted Frank with a plan. I wanted Spurs to have a plan to back Frank, and we go, right, this is what we're going to do. That's why I've come out and said, if you are not going to back the manager that you wanted, not you, it's the football club. If the football club are not going to back the manager they wanted with a plan, just get rid of him and bring someone else in who's going to be here for the next 6 months, 12 months, and then we'll go again. And then, you know what, when that doesn't work out because there's still no plan, you know what, we'll go again. Right. And then we'll go again. And I've just got to that stage now where I'm like, I don't know. I'm so everybody. Sorry, guys. It's just so much point scoring. I genuinely don't care. I just want to know, where is my club heading? After 40 years of supporting this football club, where is my football club? Where is our football club heading? I don't care about who got it wrong with this player, who got it wrong with this manager, who got it wrong. I don't care. Where are we heading as a football club?
Championship.
But we're not, right? We're not going to get relegated.
We're not that bad. We're not that bad.
Give it another couple of years. If this carries on, we are going to be that bad.
Where are we heading, lads? And as I said, still, we've had this chat offline. I've chatted with.
Mate, we're not too far off of what we're seeing at West Ham.
I'm happy for any player or any manager to leave this football club. I don't give a shit. Believe it or not, whichever manager or player is at this club doesn't pay my mortgage. I'm happy for any of them to leave, but there's got to be a plan in place. Otherwise, we are just repeating the same thing. The next manager will come in, half the fan base will like him, the other half won't, and then we're just going to have these battles again. Oh, but he's not Conte, oh, but he's not Ange, he's not Poch, he's not isn't anyone else drained?
I've been saying it for 6 years.
Are we signing Savio? Is Savio our star signing?
No, he's not coming.
We're not getting. He's out for 2 months anyway. He's out for 2 months.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not going anywhere.
We would get a discount, Sava.
discount on one leg. Listen, guys.
Look, I know he's injured. I know you wanted 70, 80 million, but the fact he's out for 2 months and he hasn't done anything. Could we possibly get him for 50?
I think the overriding thing still, we haven't done predictions for Saturday, have we?
No, we don't do cup games. We only
don't do cup games. This is a league only channel, Lubo. I'm mourning the fact that I predicted 2-2.
Well, I've got to tell you, just going back on what was said just now, what Sam was saying, I don't think this club have had a plan since Terry Venables left in 1993. I think we go back that far. So, you know, if the club are watching this, if word is getting back to Vinay, to the owners, let's have a plan. Let's have a strategy. Guys, I've got a 7-point strategy plan here, manifesto. Anytime you want, I'll send it through to Vinay. Mike Stevens, you can pass it on. It's very basic. It's very simple. It's how football clubs should run. It's how Levy failed us for 25 years. So let's get on with it and let's sort this club out, because this club is a fucking mess, and I'm not surprised. This is where you get to when a business is neglected, and it's got to stop now. It's got to stop.
Billy, it's been superb having you. Sava, it's been a great having you as our once in a lifetime mystery guest. I mean, where do we go from here, Billy? I mean, you'll have to keep us in up to date with the demonstration, and you reckon that it. And I'm sure still will be happy to promote it on here, or if maybe you can pop on at some stage before that.
Of course, I'd love to. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Promote it. What do you think, Instill?
Yeah, we should be protesting. We shouldn't have stopped protesting. Yeah. We got happy because Levy went, but too many fans jumped on the ENIC 2.0 train, and I said it from day one. Like, what the fuck is Charrington? Why have we got an ex-Gooner at the club? What are we doing? But you know, like most things at Spurs, you have to wait for it to play out for everyone to say, okay, we've seen it now. Let's sack the manager. Let's protest. Let's sell this player. You know.
I guarantee you, this time next January, we'll all be sat here again with the same conversation, right? Be a new manager, be a new transfer window, and we'll be here. So will he.
Billy, this is why I hit my barrier. I've hit my barrier of the point scoring. Just drives me nuts, Billy. I genuinely Don't care. Hire who we want. I don't care anymore. Like, until there's a plan, if this club announced tomorrow, we're bringing in, just for example, we're bringing in Campos or Ralph Rangnick as the director of football, and we're giving them the keys. This person's going to build for 5 years. I will go, yes, I'm back. I'm invested. Right now, manager in, manager out, players in, player out. What does it mean? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in decades. So it's point scoring. It's all point scoring. I'm so bored of it. So bored of it.
So,
guys, just in the chat. Guys,
I was just about to call this comment, Johnny. The business hasn't been neglected. The football has. Absolutely. And that's the reason why we've got loads of money to spend, but players that don't want to join. We can't even get a player from Bournemouth now. This is where we are. And this is what Enoch have done to Tottenham.
No, we were never getting him. We were never getting him. When City come calling, let's have some reality on here, right?
Johnny.
We were never getting
Johnny, before Enoch joined, we would never lose a player from Bournemouth.
Yeah, we would if Liverpool or Manchester City.
We didn't lose a player from Bournemouth.
No, we didn't, Johnny. No, we didn't. We beat United to Gascoigne. We beat
Listen, you were 1991.
Five years ago.
We're talking about
to keep it relative, Lubo, right? I'm trying to keep it.
Did you really mention Paul Gascoigne as your example? That was nuts. That was mental.
Come on, guys in the chat, please.
We got Ricky Villa ahead of Liverpool in 81.
Listen, guys, we really appreciate your support in the chat. We'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, because we have hundreds of you that watch this channel every single week, but never bothered to hit the subscribe button. The subscribe button doesn't cost you any money. It's just so you find us and you know when we're going live, which is Mondays and Thursdays. So please hit the like button and please hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on audio, if you're out walking the wife, walking the dog, you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify audios or Spotify visuals. Okay. And we really appreciate your support. We wouldn't be here without you. Over to you, Stel.
Check out Football Heritage TV, Sava's channel. He's live on a regular basis. Check out Billy T. He's pretty big and vocal on X. He also bounces around all the YouTube channels as well.
Don't forget his TikTok. He's 5 things to follow, right? If you don't watch them, go and watch them. If you don't know, you need to know.
What's the TikTok channel name? Is it just Billy T?
I think it's Billy T 1882, I think.
Billy T
1882. I need to copyright
that. Tottenham Trev thinks super chat. We need an Arab with a Spurs scarf and oil.
Yeah,
why not? Jerome, all of those links stinks of Lange. He's the biggest fraud at the club right now. No wonder Paratici's leaving. Recruitment is awful.
Great.
Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. We've been going on for 2.5 hours. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Our next show will be on Monday. And yeah, enjoy your weekend if you can. God knows what it's going to bring us. Yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Let's see how we
thanks to Billy. Thanks to Sav. Thanks to Billy T. Thanks to Sav.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Legends.
Billy, I was going to ask you very quickly. Did you say there was a date for the protest, or you're thinking there's a date?
West Ham game, definitely 17. I think it's 17. Yeah.
Do we have
guys?
Billy, do we have a time yet? Do we have a time?
Not yet. We'll sort that.
All right, guys, just put the West Ham Spurs game at White Hart Lane in your diaries. There's going to be.
It'll be at the very beginning of the match. It'll be in the stadium.
Yeah,
there you go. All right, big up everyone. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit notification bell. See you soon, and good night, Jeff.
Good night, Jeff. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Leave it out.